We don't need to hear it anyway.
This is true. Mind you, in saying that, the only thing that turns up when I hit that is Skype. Oh, all good. As long as we can see it, we don't need to hear it.
It's too delayed for me anyway.
Is that better? Is that better?
What?
I think she's talking to her unit partner.
You see his voice, his face move, but nothing comes out. And I can hear him. Apparently really quiet.
You were a little quiet, yeah.
Oh, okay, could be that I keep... I don't know what from.
It seems alright now.
Haven't got my what on? How do I check that? Okay, that's in sound settings, eh? Audio and video, microphone. Yep.
I couldn't hear it either. I don't think.
No, that was me.
Lucky we're nice and early.
That was my bad. Sorry. No, that was me.
Start over.
Lucky we're nice and early.
We'll start over. Now you can hear everyone, and you can hear me.
Did you have the stream muted?
No, I had my microphone and everything muted. And I had you guys muted as well. It was weird. So you should be able to hear everyone now. So like I said before, one shot. I've got new teeth. I can't speak very well. So I'm not going to DM for a couple of weeks. We're going to get Baz up top here to DM this one shot story. Which should run 2 weeks hopefully. So we'll see how we go. We've got everyone on Skype instead of Discord, so it'll be a little bit different. Got everyone on camera. So hopefully, if you can't hear anyone, let me know. When we get through, we'll get them to turn themselves up or down. But we should hopefully be okay. So with that, we shall hand things over to our Dungeon Master for this evening, Mr. Orbasm.
Righto. G'day team. Hope everyone's in for a bit of a change. Mr. Sean, can we just chuck up the map of Thaawych as I lead in here? I'm going to get straight into this. Right, so Thaawych, a small farming community consisting of but a few hundred people. It's a town that is growing steadily with its trade, the market in timbers, wheats, grains, and a newly surfaced mithril mine is doing well. Currently, the streets are alive as Thaawych is kicking off its summer festival today. A festival that celebrates the great season before the upcoming harvest, a festival that usually lasts a few days. The streets are now releasing the fresh scents of hot home-baked goods, breads, pies and pastries. A group of young females, dwarves, centaurs, humans and elves, are darting around handing out woven flower wreaths with a distinct rosy fragrance. The laughter of children and their excited squeals ring out as they run, pushing past a large, dark-haired centaur woman walking by the Harp Soul Theatre. Cavalry, you can describe yourself for us.
Oh, I am starving.
Apologies.
My name is Cavalry. I am Centaur. I live on the reservation outside of Thaawych. I am 6'7", very tall. I have black hair, tail, and fur around the hooves. A black lower half with a tan skin on the upper half. I am carrying a halberd on my back attached to straps, and a brown leather with buckles, kind of a corset. I just wrap it on and go. And I let's see. I stand with a noble stature as if I am used to commanding respect for protecting my tribe. I am come to town for the summer festival with my friend Radal, who has talked me into going. And I'm flicking my tail, looking at the people while she decides where we are to go next. I think that is all.
That's good. And as you walk along beside, chatting to her quadruped friend, is this dragonborn female. Radal, please describe yourself.
Hi, I'm Rattle. I am a rather tall, but not quite as tall as my dear friend here. I'm 6'6" with no hair. I have these beautiful blue scales, piercing emerald green eyes. Carry around my lute, which I love to perform on and entertain people. That's about me. You'll see me in my nice modest leather trousers and a green flowing cloak.
White.
Good.
A white flowing cloak. It's greeny white, you know.
Green dress.
Mint. Green dress.
And
flowing cloak. Never mind.
And as your cloak flows in the morning breeze of Thaawych, 2 or 3 birds flutter past at a low level. They make slight chirping noises as they playfully flit and swoop into nearby trees that decorate the front gardens of the great library of Thaawych. It is here another female can be seen carrying a large pile of bound library books up the marble steps. And this is your chance, Breath, to describe yourself.
Well, I'm a Air Genasi wizard, female. Got light blue eyes, a bluey grey skin complexion, blue with teal tips is the colour of my hair. I stand 5'9", and I'm a bit of a bookworm. But that's about it.
Very good. And Breath, as you're checking up the steps, a young Githyanki child is walking past, green, sort of almost like a small goblin, but a little larger, and he's walking a deer past this bottom of the steps, trotting over the hard dirt street as he sort of mingles amongst the people. The deer's wearing a throw with the markings of the local Santora Wildlife Sanctuary. And they nearly bump into a very stern, serious-looking human maiden, which, Nancy, this is your description here now, please.
Medium size, 5'6" in height, long black hair, green eyes.
No, you're not.
About it.
Your picture's on the screen. You forgot what we discussed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yellow eyes,
So close.
white hair.
How easily we forget.
Yeah. Hey, it's flag, okay?
Brain lag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. And battle worn. There we go. That works. Yeah, I don't know what else to say now.
No, that's good. Sorry, yeah, we can see Nancy on screen. Silver hair, yellow eyes. Nancy, what kind of mood are you in today? How do you look as this young child and the baby deer pass you?
Yeah, no thoughts whatsoever. Just carry on.
Excellent. Another small boy, a half-orc boy, darts in and out of people quickly. He shoots a glance at one. You see him? He's fidgeting with his fingers quickly, back and forth. He reaches over to a sweets table and grabs a cupcake, and then off with a man's purse. A tall elven man, about 10 and 15 meters away, with tightly tied long silver hair, who you all would know is the local captain of the police called the Vance. He looks over, he nods to a guard nearby, a Githyanki, and he says, Kramak. And he nods in the direction of the small thief. Kramak, could you please introduce yourself?
I am tall, very thin, yellow olive complexion, very narrow, dark eyes, dark hair, braided down both sides, tied in the back. Small, dark goatee. Wearing chain armor with sword and shield, which is unusual, as I am not a fighter of any kind. But very sort of menacing sort of presence, very intense look as I sort of step forward and look around, check out what my captain is pointing out.
And you see this young child, grabbing this cupcake and pickpocketing someone's coin purse and darts close by you. How do you deal with him?
I definitely reach out and snatch his collar as he tries to dart past.
Okay, give me a dex check on that, please, Kramak.
One moment. We'll just switch back to this other scene so you can't see my roll. Nah, kidding. I'm going to do this on camera because we're good, because I'm going to use the dice roller. So, dex check.
Yes, please.
That will be the first natural one of the evening.
Wow.
Jesus.
Right, that's all.
The first natural one, guys.
It's good to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
As
so
long as we don't all follow suit.
I'd like you to describe to us how you missed this act.
As I sort of step forward to grab the child, obviously he's way too quick for me. I sort of stand forward to stumble, and not toppling over, but sort of just grabbing what I think is him, but it's just nothing but air as he darts past and disappears down the alley.
Yeah, so he's a bit more wiry than you thought, and yeah, you reach forward and like you say, you lose your footing, and this half-orc boy, he just sort of gives you a quick smirk and carries on. As you look back at your captain, he sort of gives you a nod and just a smile and shakes his head and says, "Don't worry about it, it's fine. He's just having fun, we'll get him later." And he lets it roll. As you guys...
Of course,
all
Captain. As I grimace sort of back at him, half smiling, but kind of pissed off at the same time.
As you would be. And as you all are doing your own thing around the grounds, you notice game stalls have been set up, and older people, younger people alike are all sort of mingling together around these different stalls. If you look to your map there, you'll see the town centre has a large circle in the centre of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is, the town centre is where most of these stalls are set up. You've got different games going on, a lot of bakery and things happening, children gathering to areas where they can throw hoops over sticks and things like that. The noise of the day is picking up, and an older man calls out, step up, try the test of strength. How far can you toss this mead barrel? anyone want to go? And you're all nearby. Kramak, unfortunately, you're on duty, but the rest of you are quite welcome to step up.
I nudge.
You can't even remember a name.
I wrote him down, guys. It's a good hint.
I know who she's talking about.
You nudge your quadruped friend.
I nudge my centaur friend.
And I can't remember the name too.
I am used to her being like this. I step up.
Shall we have a go?
And the old man says, "Yes, young lady, would you like to have a go?" And you can see these large barrels. They're not big, 40-gallon drum-sized barrels. They're smaller mead barrels, but they're very heavy still. Would you like to have a throw? And you can see lines on the ground at different distances of where you can throw these barrels to.
All right. I will try. What do I
Okay.
have to do?
It's just 1 gold coin to enter,
Oh.
and if you get it past the 3rd line, you win 10 gold coins back.
Oh.
This dude sounds like me.
He's a bit more gummy, but yes.
I pass over the gold and I pick up the barrel.
Okay, so just give me a strength check there, cavalry, and
Oh,
see
wait.
what happens.
Strength check?
Correct.
That is
We'll go
at
back to main cams for a bit.
18.
Okay, 18's good. So yeah, you pick up that barrel, and it's not so bad for you, someone of your size and strength, and you give it a good hoist, and it up through the air, and it hits the ground with a good thud. Bits of the timbering and the banded area sort of splinter off, and it just rolls onto that 3rd line. He says, "We have a winner, first winner of the day," and he gives you 10 gold coins back. So there you have it. Step right up. Anyone else? Anyone else for the strength test? And he looks over to the library steps and says, "How about you, young breath? How about put those books down and have a go at this?"
Not on your life.
He nods away. That's fair. That's fair.
I'll give it a go.
All right, hello. You come over. Have a go.
I'm assuming Kramak would know all of these people.
You,
By sight,
because you all
maybe?
live in the same village. Yes, you have a rough idea of everyone. If you haven't already got a background with someone else, you all have a rough idea of each other. Yep.
Yeah, Kramak's just going to be standing at his post, sort of taking in what's going on, taking notice of sort of what everyone's doing as much as he can.
Kramak is currently on duty, and he's only got a few hours left of his duty before he can partake, but he is allowed to also participate in the events, provided he keeps his eyes on the show. Gerardo, ready for it? And he hands you one of these large mead barrels.
Yep. Ready?
Okay, throw away and give me a strength check.
Oh, and I drop it on my foot. I got a 4.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. You pick it up and you sort of fumble it, and boom, and it just sort of rolls forward about 1.5 meters, and you're like, "Oh, that's not so good, lad. You haven't been pumping the wheat bricks this morning."
No.
Never mind, that's a gold to me, and it's okay because the Wildlife Foundation wins, because all proceeds are going to help out the wildlife, as well as where we keep our wheats and things. So And looking around, anyone else willing for a go? Nancy, or are you looking for something else, Nancy? A tall half-orc woman points towards a few gathered people, and she says, "Hey, you," and Nancy, you're one of the ones she points to. "Hey, you guys, over there. Come all, and test your accuracy with these beautiful darts." And she holds up a large feathered dart, and there's a target in the distance, almost like a bow and arrow target, and you see her, she just, and boom, straight into the bullseye with a dart. Come on, Nancy, I'm sure you can do it.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
All right, so you're on a dex check to see how well you throw this dart to the target.
17.
17's good. So yeah, not quite the bullseye, but there's 1, 2, 3, and the bullseye's in the 4th ring, and you're on that 2nd ring just from the bullseye. Boom, straight into that board. Pretty good. Hey, that's excellent. You get 5 gold as a prize. after you pay me the 1. So she hands you 4 for 1 gold entry. Anyone else up for a jam? At this point, before anyone can answer, a bunch of kids all run in space. Oh, we want to go. Mum's giving us money. And they're all sort of standing there. At this time, you all seem to mess around throughout the day. Kramak, you're getting a few funny looks here and there because you're on guard, more sort of stiff than the rest of the crew. The festivities are picking up as the day passes through. Lunchtime brings out this massive set of tables, large feeding area, as you would call it, and it's like a banquet of sorts. Large chickens and deer on the table, the steam rises. Almost without warning, though, the day passes into afternoon into evening. And is there anything you guys would like to do before we hit nighttime? No, we're clear. That's good.
No, I'm going to go about my duties and again keep an eye out for that half-orc kid. He's pissed me off. So,
and that's a good point. You spot him around about that. It'd be the evening meal probably, just coming as the catering. A few young elven women and half-elven women are setting these tables up, and a couple of the older men are putting the mead barrels on the ends of each table so they can be accessed. And you see that young orc boy again, and he's shadow to shadow, behind a barrel, behind a pillar. One of your friends, another guard, a human guard, is lighting the local lanterns. He's up there with his long pike, and he's just lighting the lantern and then hooking the doors closed. And you see this little orc boy just dart past him, round and back, and he's got someone's pocket again. You can see him plain as day.
How close am I to the guard lighting the lantern?
You're about 10 meters from that guard, and the child's about 15 meters from you.
I will take a couple of quick steps towards the guard, but not in such a way that gives away my intentions.
Yes.
And as I approach him, be like, "Hey, see that kid?"
Yes, I see that child.
The thief just pickpocketed that citizen over there.
Okay, and the guard sort of nonchalantly brings the pike down with a little flame on it, and he just sort of snuffs it out and gets ready to go to the next. Like, he's playing it cool.
Okay. So is the kid like moving quickly, or is he running, walking?
He darted from one shadow, picked a pocket, darted into the next shadow, and he's sort of sitting behind a barrel at the moment. You can see he's getting ready to dart out again, do his next move.
Okay, then.
And he goes for it. He runs to a tree, and you can see a group of...
How far away is he?
He's about 20 meters from you now.
Okay. I'm going to cast Mage Hand and pick him up.
All right. So you're just sending the Mage Hand to grab him by the scruff of the neck type thing? Okay. Just give me a dex check on the Mage Hand using your dex. See how quick he is as he darts out.
Another natural one, probably. No. Oh, no, it's better. 12.
Yeah, no, good. So he's rolling towards these couple of older gentlemen who are putting pints down, and you can see they've only got small pouches. No one in Thaawych is carrying massive amounts of gold on them. But he just reaches for one, and before he gets it, the Mage Hand snaps him up just off the ground, and his little feet are dangling in the air. He's like, hey, what's going on, mister? He can't see who did it. He's sort of looking around. As I say, you're 20 meters back.
And I'll just say to the guy that's with me, isn't that such a sight? And I'll just start walking forward, approaching the child. And as I get to him, I'm gonna get the Mage Hand to invert him and shake him.
Righto. So you roll me go investigation. You're shaking him down for goods.
Yep.
So the Mage Hand inverts him and shakes him. Just give me your investigation check, and as it does,
19.
Ting, 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 and there's bits and pieces falling out. You see pouches dropping down. 19, you said?
Yeah.
yeah. Cupcake. Oh, a little home-baked pie, some like hard-boiled treats type things falling out. And amongst the pile on the floor, there's a couple of pouches, all amongst probably 30 gold worth of goods. He's done a pretty good haul for the day. Whatever he was stealing for, he was doing well. You got everything on him.
I don't think these belong to you.
Oh, come on, mister. I got them fair and square.
Well, fair and square is a relative term. To steal from one is not fair to them. Maybe fair to you.
Okay, but don't tell my mum and dad. I was saving for a birthday present for me sister.
Don't steal to get such things. I mean,
Throw an intimidation check, Kramat.
intimidation?
Yes, please. Or persuasion, whatever you feel you'd be using at this point.
Intimidation.
Intimidation, yes.
9.
9. He's not so much intimidated as he's just listening to you. You can see it's kind of like, that typical 9, 10-year-old child. It's going in one ear and out the other. He's just nodding. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell you what. You take these things back to where you got them from and apologise. And I shall offer you 5 gold to go buy your sister a present.
His eyes light up a little and he's like, you serious? You're not going to tell on me? You're not going to throw me in the cage overnight?
I would never put a child such as you in a cage.
Wow.
But what I would do, if you don't return these goods and accept my offer, is flay you alive.
Roll intimidation again.
19.
Yeah. He picks up all the things off the ground. He runs immediately over to and the people you saw him taking from during the day, and I'm so sorry. And he's handing things back to them. I won't do it again, I promise. And he seems pretty sincere at this point in time. And with that, the night moves on. The brazier fires that the guard are lighting start to spark out. You can see the dark smoke and the sparks through the night light. It's a full open moon of summer, and it's lit up the area nicely among the lights of the town of Thaawych. There is a comfortable scent of smoky grilled meats that permeate about, and the sounds of the clanking goblets with the increasing volume and murmur of voices that echo through as the festival draws near its end for today. And eventually you all begin to grow tired as you retreat to your abodes, which I assume you all have houses or stays here.
You tell us. I'm assuming I live at the barracks, so...
Of course, the military will be at the barracks, but the rest of you absolutely do have houses or stays wherever you would like to stay.
You're quiet.
Yeah, what's that? Sorry, Ian?
Oh, sorry. I said I'm probably pretty sure. I think I live in the nature reserve.
So you head out to the nature reserve?
Too close to your mouth, lady.
So every one of you heads back to wherever you would reside for the night, be it the inn or whatever. You can stay up and drink and do what you like, but here's where you find the story getting deeper. You all discard your garments of the day, your clothing, your backpacks, whatever you would be carrying, and you're off duty now, Kramak, and you would also be, because you have an early rise in the morning, you would also be discarding whatever equipment you have and heading yourselves to bed. And through the middle of the night, you all find yourselves jarred awake. It's sudden and without warning. Each of you feels exactly what I'm about to describe. You are violently grabbed by your feet and pulled off your bed wherever you were sleeping. You are very, very sluggish. Any type of reaction at this moment is what you would get if you were just dragged out of bed at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and you know when the kid goes, "Please help me, Mum," and you're like, "Well, what's going on? Am I dreaming?" You can hear around you all types of calls and cries, screamings that pitch up out of all at once, and a gruff voice can be heard in the distance as you're suddenly dragged and thrown into the outside dirt as the moonlight beams down, and the voice says, "The food wagons are full, and the prisoner wagons are full." And another voice comes in over top. "Tie up what is left and light up the place. Master Slesserok said, leave no one alive." You can all look around at this point. No gear. You're in your whatever you would sleep in. You're being bound currently by your hands to these large full mead barrels in the middle of the town square or the town circle. Lots of cages on wagons can be seen, and you can see town members packed into these wagons, other wagons packed with the mithril from the mine, other wagons packed with children and wheat and anything else you can think of through the town. Suddenly an arrow starts lighting up buildings around you. The thatched wooden buildings smoke alight. And from here you see the wagons begin to roll off, a couple of large, and you can show the Orog picture if you like here, Sean, that would be good. Just to get an idea. Yep, Orog and Ogres are what you can see around. If you can give us a shot of those. Large beastie men with big tusks sticking up, mohawk hairlines braided down the back, very, very built and wide, and they've caged people up, and they're just firing arrows into these buildings that you all know as Thaawych. Everything's alive. There's your Orog. Very, very leather armor up to the hilt. You can see next to you guys being tied up is the captain of the guard, Kramak, yourself being tied to one of these barrels. You guys can resist if you like. At this point, you would see in front of you there's like 6 to 10 of these creatures that are all moving about, tying people to these large mead barrels that are full of mead that they haven't stolen.
So I'm being tied up next to the captain?
You're being tied up next to the captain.
How close is everyone else?
So you can
in relation
see
to me.
Nancy, cavalry's in a different position, being the type of creature she is, larger. They are using large binding ropes and tying her off to the side of a building. Everyone else has been tied within about a meter of you each, within these barrels that were circled in the town centre.
Don't resist.
Close to the flames.
Yeah, so the flames are on the outskirts. If you're in the middle, the flames are on the outskirts of the nearest buildings, so it's fairly distant at this point. Breath.
I just hiss, don't resist. So they're loud enough so that everyone can hear, but not loud enough to sort of draw attention to myself.
Breath, would you have been in the library, or because I'd be in the library quarters? Yeah. Yep. So they would have tried to drag you out. Have you anything that would avoid this?
I would have cast invisibility on myself.
Okay, only because you're an air genasi, I thought it might be a little more difficult for them, yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh, I could also levitate out of their reach. I'll cast invisibility on myself.
Okay, so at the moment you're watching this happen, you've cast invisibility, and from the only building that probably won't burn because it's made of solid stone and marble, you're from the library windows or doorways, you can see this going on. Nancy, you're getting tied as well. Are you resisting?
No.
Okay. Anyone resisting at all?
No.
Okay. So you all, other than Breath, watching on, get tied to these barrels or the side of the buildings. And you can see the enemy have now retreated on the road north of Thaawych. There's an ogre or two at the back of the wagons, I guess you'd call them. And they are big bestial creatures with massive clubs, and they're sort of lumbering behind, and they look over their shoulders just as the firelight sort of lights their faces. And you hear the original Orog, or the leader that's sort of commanding them, going, "Get these to Slisserox and make sure this town doesn't survive." And then with that, the last of them are gone as they sort of turn and fire the arrows. Now the more of the town becoming ablaze. With the enemy out of sight, you all have a chance to do something. We'll begin at the top with Nancy. Nancy, what would you like to do?
I suppose it'll be a strength check to try and break the bindings, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, strength check to try and break your bindings. So you're bound hands and feet, and also around the waist to these barrels for you. So give me a strength check.
And I don't get any extra strength from my hyper transformation, do I?
You could. Yep. Are you going to transform?
I was thinking about it.
If you transform, I will give you advantage on that check.
All right, I'll do that. Hyper transformation.
All right, go for gold.
So just standard strength check.
Yep, but you can do it at advantage. With your hybrid transformation, what do the others around you see?
Hang on.
I think you have a choice, don't you?
It's lycanthrope style, isn't it? Is it wolf you went for?
Yeah.
So I guess if you can imagine suddenly the body of Nancy...
It's not a full transformation from memory.
No.
It's hands, teeth.
You learn to control the lycanthrope curse, and now lives in your blood. As a bonus, actually, you can transform into your hybrid form up to one.
Yeah.
You can speak, use equipment, and wear armor in this form.
Cool. So I mean, I guess if you look at one of those Underworld movies, that hybrid wolf, I guess is what Nancy's looking like now. She's sort of boom, bulks one arm, bulks the other. The forearms that grow a little longer, claws stick out. And what did you get for your strength check, Nancy?
14.
14. Yeah. So it's tough. You're right on the cusp of it, but you snap those bindings, and you're the first one up. Next is cavalry, and so you're bound. Both your legs, you're still standing, but both your legs are bound sort of together, and you're bound around the neck and arms together to the side of this building, to a lamppost on the side of the building, basically. And are you going to try a strength check as well, or are you going to try something else?
I would probably go into a rage first because I would be angry, and then I would do a strength check too.
Sweet. Okay, so you will get advantage on this check as well.
I'll go help whoever's tied up. I'll use me claws.
Okay, sweet. So next to you was the captain of the Vance, and we'll get to that just next. Okay, strength check. What did you get?
The highest I rolled was an 8.
Okay. So you find you can, your legs are sort of strong enough to break one of your back bindings, but the front legs, your arms, and the pole is just resisting as you pull on. You can hear the rope tensioning, but it's just not going at this point. Nancy, you can see this if you want to aid her first.
Yep.
I got my thumbs up.
I'll go and...
okay, so you can go over and give me a strength check again. Same thing at advantage, because you're both trying this now.
I was just going to use my claws.
You're going to use your claws? Oh, yeah, no check needed then. Yeah, slash through with your claws. The rope gives just like that, and with that, you're helping untie the rest of her binds. While this is going on, Radl, what are you up to?
I'm looking around going, oh no, our poor town. So I will quickly cast a control flames and put out the flames on one of the buildings in a whole 5-foot square cube.
You're tied up.
Excellent. So you get to work on probably you'd be thinking that I would say this town centre, the buildings just to the south of it are the closest that are on fire at this point.
Yeah.
And so you'll start hitting those. Are you going to continuously hit some of those buildings?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll go to Breath.
As I'm doing it.
I'm going to
absolutely
do a misty step down to someone that's tied up and start untying them.
Okay, sweet. So you've got Kramak and the captain of the Vance. Sorry, just with that too, Radl, because you were in the Santura Wildlife Sanctuary, you could hear this going on, but you wouldn't have been tied either. So that's probably the reason why you would have come into town to see all this going on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because they didn't venture out to the sanctuary to pull anything in, so you would have seen this from a distance like Breath did. And Breath, sorry, yes, carry on. You're untying.
Yeah, untying probably the captain of the guard first.
Yeah, and there's no strength check needed if you're untying. It's just a little bit of dex, and you should be good with that. It's nothing major. You get him untied pretty easily. He gets up and he says, I thank you. This is not common happenings. I wonder what is going on. I do know of Arogs, and I can probably help. We should track these people. And he starts pointing around at Kramak, and he starts to help you with your ropes, Kramak. Are you pulling at your ropes?
Yep, I'm just sort of struggling trying to bring myself.
Yep.
I'm pretty wiry, so...
The captain of the guard's out there in his basically just his loincloth, and he's sort of undoing your ropes, and you're pulling with him, so if you can do a strength check at advantage with the help of him.
That would be a 9.
Sweet. So, that was advantage?
Oh, it was advantage? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll roll it again. That would be a 9.
Well, it takes you quite some time, and the fires, as Radl's trying to put fires out, you can see them spreading, and the captain of the guard says, "God damn it! If I had just slept with my knife in my bloody pants like I used to," and eventually it takes some time, but he gets you out. Breath comes along to give a hand, and he eventually helps you out. You're all up and around.
So I'm going to head straight for the barracks
Cool.
to get my gear and to see if anyone else is left in the barracks.
Okay, so heading to the barracks, which is, and I've labelled nothing in the town here, only for the reason that you won't be here long, but you head to the barracks, which is just south of the library on the opposite side of the main gate, quite a distance away, and it's most of the buildings are on fire now. There's a lot of buildings on fire, except for the ones that Radals are putting out in the town centre, but you can get to the roof's on fire, but you can get in the building. Anyone else going for gear has the same. You can get to your dwelling, your house, but it is on fire if you want to get your gear. So we'll start with you, Kramak. Heading into the building.
Yep.
There is thick black smoke. Everything is hard to see. Very, very solid.
I'll try and get below the smoke choking. As much as I can.
Getting low and searching for your gear.
Yep.
Just give me an investigation check for that.
23.
All right. Oh, and give me a dex check because some wood's coming down from the roof. Boom.
Dex check. Oh crap. 6.
So you see your gear, you dive for it, but a falling piece of flaming timber just crashes down, you get 6 damage. 6 damage is it's flaming falling timber, but it's ashen, and as it crashes down, it really just sparks over you, taking just a small amount of damage. Go to Breath.
Piece of shit.
Breath, what are you up to at this stage?
Helping everyone get untied and probably trying to find a way to put out the flames as well.
Okay, there is a well in the town centre and there's buckets nearby as they get bucketed to the taverns and the bathhouses at all times, so you have no hassle getting to water. Putting out the fire, however, now you're going to have to lug a bucket of water, about 20 meters ish, and you're going to have to throw it on the fire. So I'll take a strength and a dex check for those, please.
Strength is 18.
It's good. No hassle carrying the buckets.
And dex, I threw the bucket into the fire with a 6.
So you fill 2 buckets of water, and you quite confidently, the adrenaline coursing through you, and you confidently walk over to the fire. And as you sort of toss both buckets at the fire, it puts the fire out, but you lose the buckets in the dwell of it. The fire's like, and you can see, hang on, the bucket, right. A lot of bookwork, but not a lot of physical labour.
Yeah, it worked.
It's a start, and you can sort of keep that up, realizing not to throw buckets into the fire now. Cavalry, what's happening in your end?
So all of our things are in the same building?
All of the things are in the building that you were dragged from.
I check to see if my friend Radal is okay first, and then I want to go rush for my things.
And as you glance around, you can see Radal doing her magical abilities, putting fires out, and you're snuffing them quite well, Radal. You've got most of the town centre fairly smouldery now. It's not blazing anymore. You can start moving to the outskirts, and that's what you see, Cavalry. And now you're headed to get your gear.
Yes.
Okay, no hassle as you head to your building. It's the same sort of scenario as what Kramak had. You've got a building that's on fire. Smoke is billowing out these open windows. Your shutters, you can see the shutters are sort of just waving back and forth in the breeze, but the smoke's billowing out. As you head in, make a investigation check for me, please.
4.
Okay, it's too dark. You can't hunker down in your quadrupedal form as much as someone else can. It's hard for you to crouch, and you're coughing and choking on the smoke, and you cannot see your equipment. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Please. A 14.
Oh, good. So you take a sort of a quick breath into the smoke, and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that, and you just hold your breath, and you're still looking around for your gear. We'll make one more investigation check before it gets too much, and I'll roll the dice.
9.
Right, you manage to find your pack. It takes a while, but as this happens, some of the wall is up on fire, and you can see where your bed normally is. You can see that it just catches, and you need to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
17.
17, yeah. Not too bad. You only take half the damage. Take 4 damage as the flame sort of whips up close by, and you can feel it singe some of the hairs along the back of you. And you've got a lot of hair along your back being a centaur, and so there's that singed smell through the air. But you grab your pack and your armor gear, and you hoof it. Excuse the pun. Out the door. Nancy, you're in the same position. No equipment. You're heading back for your equipment.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still in my hybrid form too, unless it's been an hour.
No, it's definitely not been an hour. This is
Okay.
a matter of minutes. You guys are reacting as quick as you can. You, in your hybrid form, I believe at better speed as well. So you
Feral Might, I get +1 to damage rolls. I also have Resilient Hide from bludgeoning and piercing.
that might not come in handy with fire, but we'll see how you go.
Yeah, I know.
So you roll into your abode, your dwelling, and it's exactly the same view. It's everything's on fire. It's a little more than what some of the others were, because it's just the case that where you live is drier, closer to the action, and
Awesome.
there's a lot of fire on the walls. Roll me an investigation check as you roll in to get your gear.
20.
Natural 20?
Nah, 30.
Dirty 20. It's good. It's still good. You've got a great memory for the space of your abode, and you almost close your eyes, hold your breath, and just go in, feeling around. Bam! You've got your armor, you've got your pack. You all have your equipment with you. No one lost their equipment. I'm so disappointed in that. And as you leave, as you come through the doorway, the framework of the doorway is just all on fire. And I need you to make a dex check as you come through the doorway, because there's beams just starting to come down as the fire and sparks hiss up around you.
This is gonna hurt. 9.
9, okay, so you suffer 6 bludgeoning damage if you have defense against bludgeoning, because no fire damage at this point.
Yeah, I have. In my form, yeah.
You
get
do,
the
so-
resistance to bludgeoning. Yeah,
So you only
worked.
suffer 3 bludgeoning damage instead as you're running
Nice.
through and out. And as you run into the open, the captain of the guard he's gone to get his gear with Kramak. Kramak, you would have seen him. He both busted in sort of nearby. He's in a different area, or it's the same sort of compound, but he's in a different building than you would have seen him.
Did I find any of the other guard in the process, or was there no one left in the building that I could see? Just briefly.
In the brief sight that you had, there was no one in there. You couldn't hear anyone screaming. All the screams were coming from the rear gate, where the prisoners were taken through on the rear gate road. At this point, you can't hear anyone else in the town other than the 5 of yourselves and the captain of the Vance. You know his name is Rokan as well.
Rokan,
I forgot to
sweet.
mention. Yes. Okay, so as you guys sort of get back together, I assume you group back up.
Is
Okay,
everyone okay? Excuse me.
I revert to my normal form.
Yeah.
I'm looking around for cavalry.
I am-
And making sure she's okay.
Patting the burnt fur off my back.
Just slightly singed, not too bad. Most of you are looking.
Is
pretty
anybody
good.
hurt? Are we okay?
I will be
fine.
alright.
Few scratches, but nah, I'm good.
I think I managed to get a bit of the fire out, so I can keep doing that.
And as you say that, a building just in the distance, you hear, and the whole side at the top of the building falls in, and one of the sides sort of half collapses. You can see that you're not going to keep on top of it.
Okay, or maybe not.
You missed one.
I give her a slap. Just a brick.
At that point, a couple of villagers come running back in the rear gate. You can see they've been running hardcore. They're in their nightgowns or loincloths. Say 3 of them at this point, and they just bowl back in, and a young elven woman, probably about 18 years of age, for looks wise, in elven years it's probably more like 40, but she sort of bends over and says, "We managed to get free, but they have nearly everyone. Oh my god, the town is burning." And she sort of rolls over to the centre and gets a bucket and tries to bucket out some of this fire that's going on as well. She goes, "What are you all doing here?"
what? Don't worry about the town. The town's lost. You need to get to safety. Where did they take the rest of the townspeople? Which direction?
She points towards the rear gate. She says, They started following the rear road. Some of the big dudes making stops for something in the bushes. They even started eating one of the children. It was horrible.
Oh, we've got to go after them.
Yeah, Cremap just sort of grits his teeth and says, "The captain, permission to do something, sir."
Rokan looks at you and he goes, we have to save the town, or what there is of it, before they get into any more trouble. I look at it this way: they're on the road. We can follow the tracks easy enough. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you, one of me. That's 6 of us. What do you know of Arogs? I know them well. Have any of you dealt with these creatures before?
Do I know anything of Arogs?
You would have a rough idea of their half-orc breeding, mixed breed, sort of almost probably through the illithid. The illithid mixes, you know how they take one creature and another and they smush them together.
So I know that they're an illithid experiment.
Creation. Yes, correct. Yeah, experiment. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Would I know?
I'll get you the rest of you to roll a history check for me, please.
While they're doing that, I'll turn to the captain and say, "You don't think the illithid are behind this, do you?"
There haven't been illithid around for years, but it is always possible. This is a strange attack. We had noticed orc movement north of here. I have a fairly good idea of the area. What was your roll, Nancy?
30.
30. Yeah, so you've heard of Orog before, but don't know too much about them. Cavalry.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, yeah. So you've done a little bit of study in your past, things you've sort of heard about through your tribe, but they tell stories of these half orc, half beast creatures. They're usually half orc, half ogre to get their size and their strength. So you know a bit about them. Breath.
26.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, man. You're a man of the books.
You're a bookworm.
you know all about these guys. You actually know more than the captain of the guard even. You know they're very, very strong, and they usually wear a pretty solid plate armor with their leather, their leather bindings. You also know that they're very aggressive. They generally tend to attack first, ask questions later. What about you, Radl? 11.
You're very quiet again.
You have much of a muchness the same sort of as Nancy. You've heard of them. You know a little bit about them, but with the information that Breath, if you wish to divulge, with the information.
I'll say everything. Baz.
Yes.
Do I have that bag that I put on my backstory?
I would say yes.
Alright, so I actually pull out a tome out of this bag and start rattling off all that information.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, so you guys see Breath has almost like a secondary satchel pack type thing, and just it doesn't seem like it should fit in, but he pulls out this large, it's like this massive bound dictionary type thing, and he sort of thumbs through a few pages and gives you the information. The captain of the guard, Rokan, he says, "That is a very handy tool."
Yes, I've been put in charge of updating the library's books. This was one of the things I was given.
And as you guys are talking, the captain's walking, he's sort of leading you, he's walking backwards towards the rear gate, and he goes, "With your book knowledge, with our combined abilities, this should work well. We should be able to capture these Orog as quick as possible and end this attack before it really even begins." And he's walking backwards.
You mean kill, don't you, sir? Not capture?
Yeah. Yes, kill, capture. I mean, it would be good to find out where these things came from and just what their intent is. And he's sort of...
From my experiments, illicit experiments don't really have any kind of intelligence. They're bred for their brawn more than their brains.
I don't know, that head guy seemed to be pretty intelligent. The one that was giving orders.
Intelligent enough to a point, and you would both know this from the book and Kramak from your dealings, that if they're due to illithid creation, they would probably get a set of orders and just follow them to the letter.
And illicit are well known for mind control also.
Correct, they are.
The orders given from that may not even have been him himself. It could have been an illicit miles away issuing orders.
This could make things hard.
Evil sent a message.
The rest of you following along with the group out the gate?
Yep.
Sweet. And as the captain's talking, he goes, just remember, Orog also very good with their traps. He's doing that walking backwards, flailing his hands thing, and suddenly you hear this whoosh, and a tree branch just whips out across the road with large spikes through it, just straight through Rokan's stomach. It bursts out, blood flies, and he sort of goes, oh! And blood just runs down his chin as he sort of was waving his arms mid-sentence, and he's like,
I will cast.
And he's just hanging on this tree alone, looking at you with his open, dead eyes.
So he's dead. There's no chance to react.
You can react as quick as you can, but the spike's gone through his stomach.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. So I was about to cast a spell, and then sort of seeing the light die from his eyes, I sort of lower my head and lower my hand.
Roll me a dex check. See how quick you were before the branch.
Dex check.
Yep.
Ooh, that's good. 18.
18's good. What were you going to cast, man?
Cure wounds.
Cure wounds? Alright,
Yep.
so at level...
level 2. No, level 3.
Alright.
Third
so
level.
You saw this branch whip, and as it embedded into his back, you hit that cure wounds. How much damage did you cure?
I cured 15.
15. Yeah, the branch splam just blows that guts out, as I said, and just before he dies, you give him that cure. He sort of pulls off the branch, but you can see it's not going to be enough. He's holding the wound, and you did stop his instant death. He's going to hold out for a little bit, but I don't know how long.
I sort of grab him and lay him down. I do believe I have one.
Anyone else want to do anything here? Anyone else can?
I've got that same tome, and I'm flicking through, and then a quiver appears in my hand, and I start writing down notes.
Awesome. What's any reaction from Radl, Cavalry, or Nancy?
Just shocked.
Yes.
I'm just going to take one of my vestments, which is my holy vestments. I'm going to tear it up, form field bandages.
Okay, cool.
And try and pack the wound and stabilize him.
Give me a medicine check, man. Or if you think something better to check, you let me know if you think you can make it
medicine check 12.
12? Okay, so what you've got is not a lot. It's got to go right around his sort of back stomach area. You can see as you're wrapping him, the spine area it's just to the right side. It's not dead center. It's, I guess, enough to stop the bleeding for now, but it won't stop the bleeding permanently, is what I'm saying. He's just going to start bleeding out, but with a bit of aid, he can walk along. His blood is dripping from his mouth, and he's like, that was not what I expected. Okay, so as you guys are walking along the path, you can see quite easily multiple wagons have left a trail here as you go past the Santora Wildlife Sanctuary and out into the forest of Santora Forest.
Basically, my intention was just to stabilize them and pretty much leave them there. But to stabilize them enough to keep them alive and tell them that we'll be back. Okay, we will try and do what we can.
Sweet as. I'm not catching all that typey stuff there, guys. Sorry.
You don't need to.
That's good. That's fine. Any questions about game? Just ask them out.
Ask out, man.
No hassle at all, man.
All right. So one of my spells, non-detection. I can cast it at will. So do I still need the material as well, or?
The materials you only need if they have a dollar value next to them. Materials are really usually there for like roleplay if you describe how you cast a spell, but generally you can just say you cast it if it doesn't have a dollar value next to the material.
It doesn't. Yeah, worth 25 gold apparently.
Generally, if anything has a gold value, you need that to cast a spell.
So all of you who can cast, you would all have one of any item you need for a spell in your pack at this point in time. Being a one-shot, you usually play a rule in that respect. So you would all at least have one item to cast one of those, any spell with a material. You would have one of that material if it costs. So that's fine if you would like to do it.
I think I should.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Excellent.
Yeah, the bot's up.
So what's the spell, Nancy?
Non-detection.
Non-detection, righto. And you're going to cast it now?
No. I just.
You're saving it for later. Okay. Yep. Sweet as. Just let me know when you're ready for that. At this point, you guys, Kramak, are you leading the way? So,
I'll lead the way, yeah.
Yeah, Rokan said to you he thought that they were north just before the branch impaled through him.
I'll search for tracks and for more traps in the area too. Holy crap!
Yeah,
just in the immediate area.
All right, so give me an investigation check, and for both. It'll be for traps and searching for. Anyone else can help him if you guys choose to help.
I'll assist.
Okay.
So do it at an advantage. Yeah.
That's better. Second one was good. 22.
Sweet. Yeah. So with a few of you there, checking on the ground, looking, you can't see any traps in the immediate area within the next, say 30 meters. You're sort of creeping forward, but the tracks are obvious. Traps, nothing, but the wheel marks, the carriages, wagons, they're obvious because they're so heavy and there's been a lot of movement. You can see the foot marks of the ogres as well, just slight indentations in the ground.
This is a point of reference. As part of my background, I have an excellent memory for maps and geography, and I can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, and other features around me. So I'm assuming I'll be very familiar with this area, being a part of the Vance.
Correct. So the Vance generally stick to the Thaawych area and the surrounding forestry, so most of what you've seen so far, you'll get to an area where eventually you won't, but yes, at this point you have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Yep.
Does anyone have a compass?
I'm pretty sure you have to threaten someone to get that.
You're still really quiet, Noddy.
It had to be said, come on.
And would any of you, others of you, like to add anything here before we move on to the road? Anything you'd like to do or say?
Apparently Drax has got the compass.
I have the same thing that he has with the maps and the geography.
Cool. Yeah, so. That's good. So a couple of you having it's good, because if one goes down, it's always nice to have that second.
Would I be able to borrow the captain's sword by any chance?
Oh.
Did the captain have his gear?
Yeah, yes.
And what did he have?
So he has.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him if he's got anything helpful before we leave.
So he sort of pulls his pack off, very very painfully, and the pack you can see the pack's torn open from where this spiked branch just railed it as well, and he goes. And he pulls out his just completely destroyed rations. He's like, yeah, we'll be needing that. And he pulls out 2 small healing potions, the standard healing potions. And then he pulls out another 2 of the greater healing potions. So you have 2 minor and 2 greater healing potions.
I'm going to give him one of the greater healing potions to take. Okay. And I will hand off. I'll say, I'm not going to need these. Who would like? We've got 1 greater and 2 standard healing potions.
And a local bard is singing away.
Tazzy, the local bard.
No, that sounds like
it was Tazzy.
Oh, it was Tazzy.
Local bard singing loudly. Yeah, so who wants these potions? I don't need them.
I'll take one.
Greater or the standard?
I'll take a standard.
I'll give a standard one to Nancy. I'll hand off a greater to Radl. And I'll give the other standard one to Cavalry.
Alright, so you guys mark those in your packs. And the sword, Nancy, you asked about, it's just a standard short sword that the Captain of Advance has, and he has quite a nice dagger as well. It's a short sword and a dagger, and he says, I think I'll hold on to the dagger in case I need it, but if you want my short sword...
Much appreciated.
And so you have a short sword as well, which you should be able to find on D&D Beyond. Alright, and as you guys head off following these tracks, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so into the night, into the bright moonlight, and the forest starts to cover it out, I guess, as you head through following these tracks through the northern road out of Thaawych. Alright, what would you like to do?
Follow these tracks to the north. Along the road.
Not too hard to follow.
No.
You've got
obviously being careful-ish, not stealthy, but I'm gonna sort of lead the way.
Okay, staying on the main road itself, or
just off to the side, not in full view.
Just off to the side. Okay, sweet as you guys are heading, you get through sort of an hour or so into the night before you come across the next vision in front of you. You can see some shadowy figures moving ahead. There's be about 100 meters down the road. You can see in the shadowy moonlight under the trees here. Minimal noise at the moment.
How'd I get me gold dust? Can't find it.
I don't have dark vision, so I don't know if I could see that far in the dark.
Okay. Now, Nancy, gold dust, you don't have to add it to. It's not
Okay.
like it's just something you would make sure you buy and write down in your pack notes.
Okay.
So
we can see
yeah,
figures in the moonlight, and that's about it.
Yeah, in the moonlight, and that's about it. Those of you with dark vision would see two large figures and a smaller figure.
No.
Okay.
I just have vision.
Okay, sweet.
I
So
have
most of you
vision
have seen
too.
this silhouetted figures in the moonlight, and as you sort of get a little closer, you can hear two low voices. I want the leg. It is the tasty part. And one of the other voices says, that is my leg. I eat that leg. You take arm. And you can hear a bit of a tussle going on as you get closer.
So how many figures can we see?
Two large and one small.
Two large, one small. I sort of turn and sort of say to Cavalry, who's probably closest to me, we need to either get around these guys or we need to kill them quietly. What do you think?
It is probably quieter if I'm off the path with the clip-cloppity.
Yes, definitely. But do we
I
take
can
them?
flank.
Do we take them quietly or do we go around them?
We can't see if they have more prisoners, can we?
Have you guys stopped moving forward at this point?
Yep.
Okay, so you're about,
observing them as best we can in the dark.
yeah, so you would have gotten to about that sort of 60-meter mark, so they don't notice you, and you're observing it. You can see that the smaller figure is definitely not one of them. It's more humanoid, and they're humanoid, but they are large and bulky, so they're more Arog.
So it looks like the small one is possibly a townsperson.
You would assume, yes.
Alive? They look alive from our distance.
Yes,
can't
they're
tell.
standing.
Okay.
One of the figures seems to be holding the smaller figure.
Shit.
If they were dead, it would not matter, but we should probably do something.
We have to make a decision. If we attack these two and potentially alert the rest, lose one life and save the many, save one and maybe lose the many.
And can I get all of you to roll a perception check, please?
Sure.
And I'm just going to say, let me know if you got over 12.
Yes.
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 Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so Cavalry, Kramak, and Nancy, you guys. I'm just trying to see everyone's names there. Good memories. Trying not to call the Paradigm Bold names out. You guys, the ones of you that rolled high enough, that's easier. The ones of you that rolled high enough, you can hear no sound of the wagons, which if they were close, you would know that you would be able to hear them. So at this point, you can only hear these two beings arguing over this small being. And while you, with this perception roll here, you heard them, no wagons, but now you can hear a young child going, "Please no, not me as well. You've already taken Jimmy. It's not fair."
All right. I say we flank.
Yes, I agree.
Does anyone have a stealth?
Yeah, negative.
I'm wearing male armor. I'm going to be rather noisy.
The child gets pushed to the other one, and you hear,
We need to,
"Right, I'm taking his arm now."
we need
Oh,
to
we
move.
go.
We need to
We
move
go.
now.
I go to the
Can
side.
I fire a bolt at one of them?
Yes, you may. They're standing right in the middle of the road, and the moonlight that's beaming down on them, you can see their silhouettes quite easily. So yes, you may.
Aim at the one holding the child. Or they both holding the child.
All right. They are not aware of your presence yet, so you may take a free shot, Nancy.
Which one's holding the child?
So you've got one to your right, one to your left, child in the middle. So the one to the left is now holding the child.
I'll go for the one on the left.
All right, fire away.
16.
Yeah, so you hear, "Kank! Oi, who's that?" You did not hit him. And we now roll initiative.
Yay!
How far away are they again?
18.
So they're about 50
50 feet?
Yeah, so
Alright.
say 50 feet, yeah.
Alright.
All right, I'll just write some. So
Shit.
so what did you get, cavalry?
18.
18. Nancy,
19.
nice. Too high roll straight off way. Kramak,
7.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
Radl.
20.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Natural or dirty?
Dirty. Dirty 20.
And breath.
11.
All right, so we have Radl up first.
Mouth breather.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. We can hear Radl sigh deeply as these Arogs turn to
Is that
face.
all we can hear?
They actually drop the kid to the ground and both turn to face the group. And what are we doing, Radl?
Well,
Super quiet.
I'm
Yeah.
not super quiet though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You really are.
I'm trying not to be. I will cast my breath weapon.
Right. So, how far is your breath weapon distance?
Hang on, just looking. I was just reading it before. Where is my breath weapon?
It's all good. One shots are harder to remember
Oh,
everything.
Okay, 5 by 30 foot line.
5 by 30 foot line. Nice. So you've got, I'd say, pretty good range just to get them both.
Yep.
It's right on the cusp of your distance to them as you guys have sort of moved forward into battle. And I would assume you would move forward anyway. You get your 30 foot move forward. So You've taken a forward position and breath weapon. Roll it. Do we have to roll a save or is it an attack roll?
Yep, save.
All right. What do I need? Dex?
You need a... yeah, DC 11. Save.
Okay.
Doesn't
Well,
actually...
you don't have to tell me the number. Just tell me
sorry.
yeah.
A dex save, yeah. Sorry.
Otherwise, I can fudge it, and I don't want to do that. One rolled a 3 and one rolled a 19. So
One will save.
one will save. Would the save reduced to half, or is the save total?
Save is reduced to half.
Excellent. So give me that damage.
And that would be a... Does this do it, or do I have to...
Fixed it.
Sweet.
What was wrong with that? I didn't see. Sorry.
You're all right. And you can see
You can do
as
that
Rattle,
on your thing as well.
as Rattle leans forward, it opens him more and just
Bottom left.
breathes out. What type of damage are you doing, Rattle,
Yeah.
with your colour?
Acid.
Acid?
Ooh.
Yep. And it is 2d6 acid, so that's...
So you click the D6 twice and you roll.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh,
Ah.
wow. 5.
All right. Oh, no rolls, eh?
Half
So you-
to...
Half of one, but the other one takes the whole lot. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, one of these Orogs, you see to hear him "Roar," as the acid sort of gets all over his armor, and you can see the armor smoking, and he actually starts pouring off his pauldron, just like no, as it's burning his flesh. The other one doesn't let out the cry of pain, but he's like, "What is this?" And at that, who is next? Is that it for you, Radl?
Yep, that'll be it for me.
All right, Nancy, you're up.
The one that's taken the most damage, I'll fire another bolt.
So he has, you can see it, that's the same one you threw the bolt at before that took the most damage from the acid. He is smouldering with this green acid stuck to his armor he's trying to rip off. He's not even looking at you now. Fire away.
16.
16. Yeah, so as he's pulled his armor off, you didn't hit him last time, but this time, boom, straight into his back where he was just removing that shoulder pauldron, right into the back of his tricep there. And
10 damage.
10 damage, right. And he goes down, it lodges in, and he's like, oh, hits the deck hard, and you hear him thud to the ground. The other one's like, no, and he runs forward with his large axe. Is that it for you, Nancy?
Yep.
All right. Are you going to move closer, or are you happy where you are?
Happy where I am.
Cool. Cavalry, you're up.
I am going to charge, if I can, to the closest one. 30
All right.
feet.
The last one that's up, he's still got his armor on. You charge into him. He's easily make it with your 30 feet.
And that hits for 21.
Whew, 21
Shit.
damage.
And that is
Right, hits for
7.
21.
Sorry, it hits for 21. That's still
Yeah.
a hit. Yeah.
That is 7 with the hoofs.
7 with the hooves. And now you're going to make 2 attacks.
Yes. And the first one hits with 19.
19 is a hit.
And the damage is 12.
12 damage. Yeah, excellent. And second attack.
Oh, and the last one is for 13. Is
That's
that
a
it?
miss. Sorry.
Oh.
So, but you get him good. You roll and you hear that as cavalry charges through. She lifts her large hoofs up at the front and just bam, and almost knocks him off his feet. He sort of steps back as she swipes. What type of weapon are you using, Nancy? Cavalry.
Halberd. the
Halberd,
poleaxe.
so big two-handed. Yeah, and so you strike down on his plate armor and you cleave through that clavicle area and split the armor open in the first hit. And as you go to pull out for the second one, you just can't quite get their strength. And you pull it out, but it's just he's moved back and you sort of swing wild. It's his turn now, and the closest one to him is you, cavalry. He's making this multi-attack. He gets 2 attacks with his great axe at you. The first is 19 to hit.
Yes.
The second attack is not as anywhere near as good. It is a +6, so 10 to hit.
That is a miss.
Okay, so he swings into you wildly because he's just taken that massive damage, and he just tries to scrape you across your chest plate. Are you wearing any armor?
Leather.
Leather,
No.
okay, your chest leather. And he gets, with this first damage, is 10 damage you take from the first hit, and then you manage to duck his second one out of the way, so just take that damage. Breath, you're up. You're seeing all this action swirling ahead of you.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile at 2nd level at
All right.
the one that's fighting cavalry.
And what color would you like your magic missiles to be?
They're going to be teal.
Awesome. These are
So,
auto hit. You don't have to do anything. You just roll damage, man.
yeah, 12 damage.
All right. So 3 missiles, 4.
It's 4.
4 at this level. So yeah, these teal blue sort of zip out. They weave amongst you guys, and then like homing missiles just find their target. Boom, boom, boom. And you can describe how you put them down if you like.
They literally go like into his eyes and then
Oh, yeah.
straight through. Headshot.
Awesome. So 2 go into his
headshot.
eyes, boom, boom, and you see them blow out the back of his head. And he sort of, it's almost like he sort of rocks there for a second, like a Mortal Kombat moment, and then just sort of boom, to the ground. But as he does that, Kramak, you spot 2 more just in the distance, about 30 feet behind, and they are charging up as well. They are going to move on the same initiative as the previous ones. So Kramak, it is your turn.
There's more coming. Prepare. And with that, I will fire Sacred Flame at the closest one to us.
All right, and so the closest one's about 60 feet, Kramak.
Yep, 6 Sacred Flame will do it.
Yep,
Dex
and you can
check-
move
Dex
forward
check.
anyway, you still have
Yep.
a movement. Dex check?
Yep.
Right. That is not so good. +1, 12.
That is a fail.
Right.
So he will take 8 points of radiant damage.
Yeah, and so it's a column of radiant fire that just as he's like, "Roar!" And you see it glints off his metal armor, and you can see it lighting him up like daylight. And you guys, all of you with that extra light, can clearly see the 2. Just the 2. There's no more. It seems to be 4 in total. And the child's still laying on the ground within that 30 feet distance of you.
And as a
How's
bonus action, I'm going to reach down and find 3 small stones in the road
Easy enough done.
and cast Magic Stone on them.
Ah, yes, good spell. All right, yep, yeah, easy enough done on that small road. You scoop up 3 stones quite happily. It is back to the top of the round, Radl.
I am going to, as a bonus action, cast my Wildfire Spirit, which
Okay.
will be a little silver dragon.
Sweet. So, and it just appears out of the nether. It's
Nest appears out of the nebula, and
how close to you is this appearing?
within 30 feet.
Sweet,
No,
Okay.
within 10 feet. No,
And it
You sure?
it's like
it's next to me,
zoop,
okay?
yeah. So a little
Appears,
pseudo dragon, did you say?
A little pseudo dragon.
And what color is a pseudo dragon?
Silver.
So a little silver pseudo dragon, about the size of an owl, would appear right beside Radl, and flying in the air, fluttering its wings. And what are we having this pseudo dragon do, or is it something you want to do?
He'll take his turn after me.
Okay, cool.
I am going to attack with. How far away is that other person? About 30 foot, you said, didn't you?
Roughly 30 feet, yeah.
Right, I'm going to walk up to him. My dragon's going to come with me, and I'm going to attack him with my longsword.
All right, easy enough done. So you get right up in his face, and he's coming to you as well. So you meet each other sort of mid battleground, just about where this kid was. And yeah, take your attacks.
11 to hit. 16 to hit.
16 is unfortunately he just puts his axe up and blocks.
Oh, how rude.
A melee bard, that's you.
Oh well, somebody's got to do it. And then my spirit will attack. I'm just going to find it again. Only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action. Oh, that's bloody helpful.
Can't really do
Yes.
anything.
Familiars and pets don't usually attack unless they're sending one of yours, but that's fine if he's got something that's cool.
Oh, he's got a flame seed attack.
If it's a familiar, they can't attack at all.
Oh, well, that's a bit rude, isn't it? Well, he just sits there and looks pretty.
You can leave him back so he's out of the way with a dodge action,
He can
Yeah.
hang back.
because they don't usually
Although-
last too long.
He does have attacks.
But they
Well,
generally
spirits.
can't do them though. Even though
Yeah,
the
it depends
creature
on his
does.
spirit. I can check it out.
Help!
I didn't know bards could have familiars.
It's a wildfire spirit.
Wildfire spirit may be different,
Oh,
correct?
it
Yeah.
could be, yeah.
If you want to check that, just while the others are going through their turn, Radl, and just read that, and we'll just work on that. It's no hassle. Okay, and you don't want to move any further. You've done your attack, and
Oh, okay, no, it's okay. It says the only combat, the wildfire spirit says your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. The only action it takes on its turn is a dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it. Must do one of its thing on its stat bar. Okay, sweet, yep. So that'll be next round.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
okay, cool. So as a bonus action, you can command it. I'll go with that. No hassle. Nancy, you're up.
Fire another bolt.
Fire another bolt. Fire away, man. So you same thing. You've got a left and a right. The one that Radl is in front of is the left one, and so you have the right one open to you.
I'll take the right one.
Sweet as. Fire away.
And the shot goes wide. 9.
So yeah, you hear that? It's a crossbow, right?
Yeah.
You hear that sort of stunk, and the arrow just sears past the shoulder of that Orog to the right, and you're like, oh, it's not so close. But he sort of, you see him look, and then he carries running at you, seeing you firing at him. He's not happy about that. Cavalry. Assuming you're not doing anything else, Nancy.
It's an action. No, I can't do anything else.
All right, Cavalry, you're up.
How far away from me?
So you'd be about 30 feet from the other two as well, yeah. You move forward. So charge. Excellent. So yeah, so you can charge into the one in front of Radl or the one that Nancy just fired at on the right.
I'm going to go for the one that fired at my friend. So.
Okay, cool. So the one in front of Radl.
That is a 21 to hit.
That is definitely a hit. And this is the charge hit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, this is the 5 hooves damage.
Awesome.
Right? And then the halberd is a natural 1.
Oh no.
Natural 1!
And roll for your second attack with the halberd.
And a nat 20 for the second.
Natural 20!
One to the other, man. That's awesome. So Cavalry, you rock in and you're like, yeah, just in with those hooves, and you just bam, and it felt really good. And as you do that, he sort of stumbles back, and because of that stumble, you miss wildly with your first strike. But as he rights himself, you swing back on the backswing. And give me the damage scores.
What's the damage for a natural 20 on this?
So we'll play it the same way as our other game. We'll play the maximum.
Maximum, and then plus what I rolled.
Exactly. So. Yes.
19.
19. Yeah. So this one in front of Radl, you put him down. Radl, you see these hooves just come straight out of you and into your line of sight. They just knock this Orog down. And wild swing, second swing just cleaves his head clean off and just rolls into the forestry beside you. Is that it for Cavalry?
That's it. I kick him for good measure. It is now the second Orog's turn, who was about to run past, going for Nancy, firing at him, but seeing his mate go down beside him, runs straight at Radl and Cavalry, and he swings at one of each of you. Once I grab my second dice. So that is a dirty 20 at Radl and a 7 at Cavalry.
Can you swap those around?
So I'm assuming I hit one and missed the other.
You hit me.
Okay, so Radl, you take 10 slashing damage as this great axe swings and just catches you right in your arm. And then, yeah, he makes that second strike, Cavalry, but you're too fast. You just back out of the way, and he misses, swinging wildly. And that is Breath, your turn.
I'm going to cast mine. Oh, actually, how far away am I from all this action anyway?
So you'd be back a bit. You're probably at that 45 to 50 foot mark.
So it's within range. I'm going to cast Mind Sliver on one of the creatures.
Yep, there's only the one left now, so...
Yep, and they got to do an intelligence saving throw.
Right, I'll make an eldest. Wow, intelligence. That's a 12.
They failed. So he just took 7 points of psychic damage.
Okay, yeah, you can see he takes that blast of damage, and he just... The large two-handed axe that he's holding, he sort of... and he sort of presses the handle of it up to his head. He like he's just got this migraine. He's like, what is this? And you see he's in some definite pain. He's actually not looking too good as a trickle of blood starts running from one of his eyes. Is that it?
I'm going to tell you this for later on. If he has to make a saving throw now, he's got to roll a d4 and substitute that from the roll.
Okay. Substitute from the roll. I'll mark that. I'll probably ask you what it is. I'll go, what is this token on my... All right. So
What's that for?
Is that it for you, Breath?
Yeah, that's my action done.
Sweet as. No movement there?
I'll move a little bit closer, but still stay a good distance away from the actual battle.
Okay, sweet. So you want to keep back, say, 30 feet-ish. Come forward about 20.
Yeah, about 30 foot, and my dog's starting to give me aggro. I'll be back.
Kramak, it's your turn. You can see this one quite injured Orog standing.
I'll move forward about 20 feet towards it and just hold out my hand to bow my head a little bit and just whisper under my breath, sort of kind of a hissy, "Death comes to you," and I'll cast Toll of Dead.
All right.
In the distance, you hear a bell tolling.
Save.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom. That's a 14.
That is a save. God damn it.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
So the bell tolls twice, but nothing happens.
So, yeah, you see he was holding that axe up to his forehead after Brett's spell, and then the bell, boom, boom, and you see him shaking, but the pain of the other spell was racking him too much, and he kind of just shook it off, and the anger takes him back over, and you see his aggression just well up in him.
As a bonus action, I'll throw one of the stones at him.
Okay, sweet, do that.
Which will probably miss. Oh no, 18.
18, that's a hit, yeah.
And he will take 4 points of radiant damage.
4 points of radiant damage.
As a magical stone explodes, it hits him in the face.
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly. It hits him right in the cheek too. It's sort of boom, and you see this greenish grey skin just sort of scar up, bright sort of orange, and then sort of bleed off, and it almost like it cures the wound instantly. Not cure, sorry.
Cauterized.
Cauterized. That's the word. Cauterized the wound instantly, and you see that you've taken a good knock out of him. He's looking very unwell at this point. He's sort of stumbling. He's having trouble breathing, but he's still, with Radl and cavalry in front of him, still ready for attack. We're back to the top of the round with Radl.
Me.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, you're Radl.
Hang on, just lost my chat. I am going to, obviously I'm still in front of this one I've been hitting.
Correct, yep.
Yep. So I will have another go at him with my longsword.
Cool.
Find the right
Attack
place.
away.
Hit. Oh god. 8 to miss.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You're trying to attack him. What were you fighting with?
My longsword.
Longsword. So you swing forth, attacking him with your longsword. He's got quite a large wrist armor that sort of goes right up to his elbow, and he sort of just bang and defends you with that.
Yep.
You have another hit.
I do not, but I'm going to use my bonus action for my wildfire spirit to cast flame seed.
Okay, cast away.
So that's oh god, hang on. Sorry.
You're right. You can just hear his laboured breathing as you make this cast, or this dragon makes this cast. You hear the noise of the spell as he's starting to cast this flame seed, and the Orog.
So that is one of those plus 5. So that is a 15 to hit.
15 to hit. Unfortunately, the flame seed does not hit either. You see it spark off his armor. It's just a burst of flame, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See it spark off his armor, and boom, the flame sort of lights him up, but didn't hit him anywhere in the skin where it could do damage. Is that it for Radl?
That would be it for Radl. That's
Ooh,
it
nice.
for me.
Nice spell. Nancy,
Crossbow again.
crossbow away.
Whiz passes his head again. 9.
So yeah, and this time it's much closer to cavalry and Radl. You guys, it sort of whips on by you. You see it and hear it, and yeah, just not making its target. Sorry, Nancy. Any movement planned on you?
No. How close is it to me?
You'd be about that 30-foot mark, I'd say, somewhere around there. However
Alright.
close you would like to be.
I've just used my action, so I can't do it. Doesn't matter.
No worries. Cavalry. Yep, sweet Sean, I see that.
How close again are they to me?
So you're right up in the face of one next to Radl.
All right, I'll
And-
just keep hitting him.
And the others are all dead anyhow.
Alright.
Swing away.
Attacks. That is a 22.
22 is a hit.
Only 5 damage.
5 damage. And your second attack.
11.
Unfortunately, 11 is not enough. That first hit, you just clang, and you crack through the top pauldron on his shoulder, and it just breaks it off. And you can see you've exposed a lot of the wound underneath his shoulder there. It's a great axe you're using, isn't it? It's straight into his shoulder. Yeah, he's definitely not looking good. He sort of stumbles, and cavalry, unless you want to move, that is the end.
No, I'll wait.
Okay, he's going to make an attack at you, but with his arm so damaged, he's making his first attack at disadvantage, and it's a 4, which isn't going to help him. And the second attack is much better. So the second attack is a 19. There's a 19 hit. Yeah. Okay, so that is 10 damage to cavalry. All right, that's it for him. Breath, you're up.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do the mind sliver again. On the
Okay.
same guy.
Excellent.
Intelligence save.
Oh no, it's like 7.
Hey, he failed again.
Yes,
Hey, he
indeed.
takes 4 points of psychic damage this time.
Okay, you can describe how you put him down.
Oh, his head just explodes.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, he gets that migraine feeling, and you see him try to do the same thing with his axe, but as he does, just to get that warble in his cheeks, and he's like, when the temples just flare out like a firecracker, he just drops to his knees in front of Radl and cavalry, and he sort of steadies on his knees with his face all just bleeding out, his head half blown off, and then and that is it, done and dusted.
I like that spell.
Yeah, it's cool.
Dude.
And with that, we're out of initiative, and I believe it's a 5-minute break.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes, we'll take 5 minutes here, guys.
Control M, Nutty.
Yeah, just a quick reminder to the guys on the Skype, when you're not talking, just mute yourselves in Skype, not on your microphone. I think we're getting a little bit of hiss coming from somewhere, not sure where it is, but just makes it a little bit easier to track who's talking and that anyway. We don't get any background noise. But we will take 5 minutes here, guys. Chat, give us a few minutes to have a bio break and a drink and whatever else we need. But we will be right back with the second portion of tonight's show. See you soon. Well, chat, we are back. It's like people have turned their microphones and shit off, but we're back. If you have any questions, now's the time. I am talking funny. I muted you, Baz. You have to unmute yourself. Here we go.
All right, back.
So just to reiterate to some of the new people who have turned up.
I'll still be on mute too. I can't hear anyone.
Yes, I was on mute. So just to reiterate to the chat, we are currently doing a one-shot with Orbasm DMing sitting above me up here. Because I have had all my teeth removed and have new dentures, so I'm finding it very hard to speak, and I'm still in a little bit of pain. So dentures move and it causes a bit of pain, so I decided we'll do the one shot so I don't have to speak quite as much until I can get used to these things and get through the pain portion of it, which is getting better every day, so we're getting there. So we are about a couple of hours in almost on the first portion of the one shot. We'll hope it's probably going to run 2 sessions. Yeah, definitely. I'm getting used to it now. The bottom plate moves a little bit, which is what causes me to sound a bit funny. When it's not moving, it's fine. Got a couple of ulcers up under the top plate already, and one under the bottom plate, which hasn't helped, but that's normal. But yeah, so this may run 2 sessions, possibly 3, depending on how far we get and where we go.
It'll be 2, I reckon.
Yeah, we're aiming for 2, so it'll be this week and next week. So next Sunday night will be part 2 of the one shot, and hopefully by then, by the following week, we should be able to get back into the regular show. The first Curse of Strahd show will be back on the 2nd. Yeah, Polydent, I definitely will be getting some denture adhesive, because immediate dentures change shape in there as well. So, but the Curse of Strahd campaign will be back on the 2nd. For those of us in the OC, for you in the US, will be the 1st of July. So they'll be back on the regular schedule, and I will be doing some gaming streams over on Mixer starting this week. I won't be doing a lot of talking. I've been playing mainly Skyrim and World of Warcraft, and things like that, so we're getting into that. I can't use any of those products at the moment because I still have open wounds. This is why I haven't got them as yet. So once I've got to wait probably another 5 or 6 days just for the wounds to heal enough that I'm not going to get denture paste or anything in the wounds to cause infections. The one thing I wasn't prepared for was the amount of excess saliva. That's crazy. But yeah, we're getting there slowly. And I'm sounding a lot better than I did 3 or 4 days ago. So, but yeah, so I think everyone is back.
Choking on salami.
Choking on the sausage.
Choking on the sausage. Hey.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, she says that to me all the time.
But yeah, so the dentures will settle and things will get better. I'll get used to speaking with them. I still haven't been able to eat solid food. I'm still on a liquid diet, so I've lost just over 2 kilos in just over a week. Nobody's making up and eating all the food in the house in front of me, which is really cruel. So make sure you give her heaps of shit about that. It's very mean.
Keep it up, Nutty. Keep it up.
You're muted, by the way, Nutty. Check your microphone mute on your headset.
Yeah, I was going to say we can't hear you, so.
Yeah,
That's better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I when I have been able to eat is what I said.
Yes. When she has been able to eat, she's been eating junk food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Nutty's got that jaw issue at the present
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. So, but yeah. So, without further ado, we will get back to the story at hand. Hand things back over to Baz.
Right.
And return to the township or outskirts township of Thaawych.
Thanks, Evil. So, yeah, that's right. We're about an hour to an hour and a half outside of Thaawych town now. In the dead of the night, you'd be looking at roughly 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. High, clear sky, bright moon peeking through the forestry. And you've just destroyed these 4 Arogs, 2 of them which were fighting over a young, what seems to be now as you're up close, a young tiefling boy. He's quite chubby, wearing just the rags that he would have been sleeping in, small curled horns, and he just wide-eyed and scared looking. You can see the dry tear marks of what would have been running down his face, and you can see damage on his arm and bruising where they must have been pulling at him hard, and he's just sitting there going, "Thank you, I thought they were gonna eat me."
Well, yes, they were, but we took care of them for you. Don't quite know what to do with this young lad.
Is he the same lad that he was arrested?
No,
Let go?
that was an orc. That was the half orc.
What? That was rather green, and this guy's rather red.
Okay.
Hard to tell in the dark.
Is your home in the town, little guy?
Yes, miss. Yes, it is. I'd never seen a head explode before.
Yeah. That
You
was
did
Cool,
you see-
wasn't it?
That was awesome.
That, I mean, yeah. I think I may have nightmares, eh?
Oh, you'll be fine. You're gonna see
you
worse
get
as you
used
get
to it.
older.
Have you saved my mum and dad?
no.
You know where your
Right,
mum and dad are.
Well, they was on the cart with me, but then they started dragging us off, and they ate old Jeffro.
Old
Do we know
Jethro.
Jeffro?
Good old Jethro.
Jeffro was a young dwarven boy in the town as well, around 12 years of age. You haven't seen any signs of Jeffro yet, but
Oh, it's okay, as a dwarf. You're fine.
Right,
did you say that out loud?
I did. No,
He-
yes, I did.
The boy just
Not on
starts sobbing.
purpose.
He's like, "But Jeffro was my friend. He didn't need to be eaten."
I give Radl a look of kind of disgust.
Typical dragons.
Which way did the
Quiet.
wagon go?
I smile.
Do you know which way the rest of the people went? Or one?
The boy looks at cavalry and points down the road and he says, continuing that way, which is the northern direction. And he goes,
Do you think you can
Hey.
find your way back to the village from here?
yeah, just follow the road. We come play out here all the time.
Head back to town. There are still some townsfolk left. They will take care of you.
Thank yous. And he sort of wipes his nose like, and then carries on down the road. I've got kids, it's easy to copy. All right, what's the plan, team?
There's other people there, it's fine.
Yeah, continue down the path, I guess.
We'll continue following tracks, heading...
To
the north.
We could send the boy back to look after your captain.
Nah, Captain will be
Yeah.
fine.
He'll come across the captain anyway.
He's probably dead already. It's all
Really?
good.
He's a soldier. He knows the consequence of what we do. We're prepared to die.
You say
Get out of it.
No,
Well, I'm prepared to die. I don't know about you.
I'm saying this for the benefit of the child.
Child's gone. It's fine.
Okay.
The child is walking away, but he does hear the remark that Nancy makes, and it is for the benefit of the child. All right, so you guys, sorry, cavalry. Go.
I was going to say all right and continue down with the road.
And so you guys head back onto the road. On the road, off the road.
Just off the road, just on the side. Sort of in the trees, but not in the trees, if you know what I mean. Sort of right on the tree line.
Okay, cool.
To try and remain hidden, but still have a reasonable view of the road and the moonlight because I don't have dark vision. And I do not want to cast light out here. It'll give away our position.
Okay, so no one wants to carry a torch or cast light because you don't want to give away the position. That's what we're saying.
Well, I don't want to personally. And I relay that to the group.
All right. So, with the moonlight, which is fairly okay anyway, you guys are able to see the silhouettes of the creatures in the distance. You can get along the road quite nicely. The trees do, as you get further through the forestry road, the trees do encroach more in the space, and you do see, you do get less vision, and it does get darker, but the road is easy enough to follow. Can I get a rough marching order? Who would be in front and at the rear and in the middle sort of thing? If you guys can discuss amongst yourselves.
At the back.
I think cavalry will be at the front. I'll be up with cavalry. I'll be flanking her.
I'd be near my friend, so I'll be with her as well.
Okay, so we sort of you've got enough room to put 3 of you across the front if you wanted. So Kramak, cavalry, and Rad all in the front, and then Breath right to the rear.
Yep.
And Nancy, we're between them or back with Breath?
Muted. You muted.
Oh, you can't hear you. Sorry, bud.
I'll be at the back with Breath, seeing I'm
Okay.
mainly a range. Before we head off, can I do a search for some... No, never mind. Won't be able to see it anyway. Oh, good!
You can do a search. What are you searching for?
My bolts.
Right. Bolts in the dark. So as you travel along the road, you can search. You can search at disadvantage unless you have dark vision, and then you can search normally.
No, I don't have dark vision.
So you can search at disadvantage. How many arrows did you fire in that fray? About 3?
Hang on, let me find it.
Yeah, and only one hit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, 4, I think it was.
Okay, so roll an investigation check and let's see how well you did at disadvantage if you don't have dark vision.
Nat 20, so 21.
Ooh,
Nat 20
yeah,
guys.
20. All right, that's awesome. So you get 3 out of the 4. The one lodged into the guy's armor through that's snapped off, but 3 out of the 4 is pretty good. The natural 20 firing and looking in the dark, man. So 3 arrows back, no hassle. You have to dislodge them from the ground where as they've dug in and scattered, but your miss was a miss, but it was straight, so it was on the main road, so not a hassle. So at the front, can I get cavalry, Kramak, and Radl to make a perception check? Thanks. And so any of you have dark vision either? No dark vision on the group, so that's perception at disadvantage, please.
Can't really get much less than what I rolled. Wasn't a natural. Well, I suppose you could.
7.
4.
Okay. Kramak?
4.
Sorry, dude, I can't hear you.
4.
You must be muted.
I was muted, sorry.
And Radl?
Hang on, I got a 3 for the first one, and then I hit the wrong button. And a 3.
Okay, so none of you see it coming, but you all hear it. You hear it, and just because you're just off the roadway, this almost like a fence made of like twigs, branches, and wood with small, dart-long spikes on it just clips up, whoosh, and you all 3 get caught in it, suffering 6 piercing damage each as it jars into your front legs of cavalry and into your sort of thigh region of Kramak and Radl.
Ow!
Yeah, all of you take 6 piercing damage, and it just you're all stuck there now too. It's just bam, and you're just jammed into your legs. They're not super long, they're not poking out the other side, but it hurts like hell, and it's like having a dart thrown into your legs, basically multiple, and it's not looking good. You guys at the back, Breath and Nancy, you see this? These guys are like caught up on this damn trap that's just gone off in front of them.
God damn it! Didn't any of you see that?
Yeah, I think.
Shit.
No, ow.
No light.
Look, it ruined my pair of pants. I mean, there's holes in my pants.
And that's right, your pants, advanced pants, your armor's more top heavy, your advanced pants not covering, it's just material leathers and stuff, and it definitely jabbed in quite well.
I'm going to remove myself from said trap.
Yeah, no hassle.
Well,
They're not, no
but-
strength check needed. Easy enough to remove, but it hurts like
God damn it!
Yes.
All right, so still in the dark with this trap up. You can see it's fairly well made and quickly made too. It doesn't look like there's been much time put into it, but it's well made for that short space of time. You would assume with the time you had getting your gear and that in town that they may have a half an hour lead on you. So for a half-hour trap, this is pretty good.
Bastards. They're a bit more
Maybe.
intelligent than I considered. You have to be careful.
All right, do you guys continue forward in the same rankings as before?
Yes. This time being more observant.
Be more observant. Okay, is there anything you wish to discuss on the party as you go?
Oh,
So, I know most of you by sight. But I don't know your skill set, shall we say.
Excellent.
You all know me. I'm part of the City Watch, but I'm also a cleric. I have the ability to heal as well as do damage. So I was just wondering, Cavalry, Radl, Nancy, and Brith, what skills do you bring to the party? What can we use in our impending battle?
As a bard and a druid, I can perform for you, and unfortunately I don't know any healing spells, but a couple of bits and pieces there we can use.
Who would you say?
Mhm.
Don't really have any use for singing or dancing, but I have
could be a
heard-
singing or dancing bear.
she makes good bear.
I'm sure we can find some
frontline
use for a
fighter.
dancing bear, I guess. And cavalry, apart from the obvious, what are your skills?
I am a frontline fighter, usually protecting things. So I have no magics. I am Fey, but so humanoid things do not work on me as well. So that is all I can do, really. I'm not very.
That's good to know. Frontline, you definitely need someone frontline.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm well armored. I can possibly frontline attack also, but my main offense is arcane or radiant in nature. And Nancy,
Rearguard can do frontline if needed.
what skills do you bring?
My crossbow.
I saw you miss. I saw you miss a number of times. Not a very good crossbow.
I'm still waking up from being dragged out of bed.
I,
That's what it
Fair
is.
call. Fair call.
what are you? I saw you use the claws on my ropes before. You are
Oh, yes.
something you are not.
We did notice. Yes. Your form changed somewhat.
I'm a blood hunter.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard of this. But this may come in handy. And bookworm.
When I have a short rest, yeah, it'll be all good.
And librarian. Apart from your books, what do you bring?
I bring the arcane arts.
I mean, your hair seems to be all swishy and flowy, and that I've not struck your race before.
We're around Air Genasi.
Okay. But arcane is good. Arcane practitioners, that's good. Well, we shall see what we find, if we can find the rest of the townspeople, I guess. See what we can do. My only hope is that the illithid are not behind this. Foul creatures. I'm sworn to defeat as many as I can in my lifetime. But they are not easy.
And with that, you guys are now being a bit more cautious at the front. Are you putting a light up?
I will cast light on
Okay,
my
so-
shield.
On shield, and that's giving you the 20-foot radius, I believe, isn't it?
20 foot bright, 20 foot
Right,
dim.
and then 20. Yeah. So with that, you have a little bit more light, and while you're talking and you guys are moving forward this whole time, are you moving at just a steady walking pace?
And I'm gonna make the light not bright, radiant white. It's gonna be sort of a yellowy, sort of a dim yellowy hue.
Yeah, just pulling it back. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll get you in the front to all roll perception again. Would the light helping you, or just be a normal roll, natural roll? No disadvantage needed.
9. I'm not
Cameron?
having good rolls tonight.
19.
19's good. Rattle.
11.
Okay, so Kramak, Rattle, you're not noticing a lot, but Cavalry, you spot it. It's like a fine, set up like a tripwire, but it's a vine. Sort of, they've taken like a piece of vine and just run it right across the length from tree to tree across the road, and then just past the road a couple of meters each side. And you spot this vine first. What do you do?
Step sideways with my body and kind of stop them.
Right,
Like-
yes, you position yourself.
Look.
What is it?
Look on the trees, the wires.
Oh
Be careful.
shit!
Okay.
I see. Well spotted.
Is
Um,
there a way to take it down quietly?
Should we
Yeah,
try?
you can investigation for your cavalry.
Do you want to try to disarm it, or do you want to just step over it?
Mm,
Is it not a bit high to step over?
Yeah, how high is it off the road?
It's low. It's only made to sort of catch ankles, sort of thing. You know, so you see it swing through it pretty quick. So it's only very low. You can
Tripwire.
step over. Yeah, like a tripwire. Yeah.
Just warn everybody else and walk over it? Just because?
yes. Because my investigation was 4. So yes, we should not.
So cavalry, you have a good look around, but that same scenario, having the large body of a horse, bending down and having a good look in the dark, even with the small light, you're not seeing much. And Raddle's information of stepping over it seems to be pretty wise.
Yes. So I will.
I'm just going to pull out my scimitar and cut the wire. I'm just going to cut the vine.
Oh,
I'm just going to say, stand back. I'm just going to grab it and just cut it.
All right, how far back are we standing?
About 30 feet.
Okay. So you're dashing. He's about to cut. He says stand back, and you're dashing that full 30 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Nancy and Breath, you guys are probably far enough back anyway. Been sort of trailing behind, I imagine.
I've got my shield up. I'm going to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. As you cut it, you just hear this creak from both sides of the road, and 2 large logs just come down right across the roadway,
I kind of figured.
missing all of you, thankfully, because he warned you to step back. Very close to you, Kramak, very close. And there's a bit of that dust sort of in the moonlight sort of puffs up, but you see these large logs. Once again, they look like rotten logs. They've just been set up quickly on the fly. It's not like a fresh cut down tree. They've just set up these couple of big rotten logs, and they sort of smash bark and rotten bits over the place. Well avoided trap.
Cunning creatures, these are. We should
Crazy.
continue.
Person, you are. Why? Why could we not just have stepped over it?
And leave it for someone else to find. Potentially a child. Not
And
a wise thing to do.
Okay.
We may have to come back this way.
I am worried about the noise that it might make. They might hear us coming, or they're far enough away to
I
not
think
hear
they're
us
far.
coming.
I think they're far enough away not to hear us coming. And if they hear the trap, they may assume that the trap has done its job. Also.
Yeah, so with that, you guys are sort of carrying forward. You would have like Avery said, though, the noise did definitely ring out through the forest night. And as you sort of move ahead now, another half hour to an hour, and I assume you're checking all the way, you do spot the odd few extra traps as you move through, seeing something similar to what took out Rokan, the captain of the guard. You see a few of these as you go, and a little bit easier to spot now. You've seen a couple of these traps, and you get about an hour forward, and then the trees start to change a bit. They get more gnarled, more wicked looking, darker looking, and Evldoa, if you've got that shot of the worst, there's 2 forest shots I sent you. One's like really gnarled, ugly looking trees. If you can just pop that up, it's give them a rough idea of what they see.
Twisted Forest?
I'm not seeing much. I've got a network error on Twitch for some reason, but...
Twisted Forest?
Yeah, Twisted Forest, man, that's the one.
It's refresh if you're getting an error.
Sweet. Oh, I've done it about 3 times. So what you're seeing is these trees that you were walking through were nice, fresh, lush-looking trees. You know, there was a few rotten bits here and there, but now they're twisted and gnarled, and the branches are starting to angle, almost like the forest is changing. The grass starts to wilt and go brown. The trees look far more dead. There's a lot less greenery. There's still greenery there, but they're looking mutated almost as you get into that. It's darker. The moonlight's getting cut off as the canopy closes above you, and the road where you're following the tracks. Can I get a perception check from the leaders again? Thanks.
Man, my rolls are shit tonight. 4.
You sort of feel like the tracks, you lose them at this point. Cavalry.
20. 30.
Nice. And Radl?
10.
Something going on in Evldoa's house. You're getting low rolls over there.
I know, it's weird, man.
Tempted to get my real dice out.
Cavalry, once again, you're the first and probably the only one to spot it at this point. The tracks of the carts you're following and all the footprints, they move into the forest to the left of the road, to the left of the roadside. So to the west of the Thaawych Santora Forest Road, and you see it as the others sort of move forward. You sort of stop and notice that. Hang on a minute, these tracks veer off.
Travelers, we need to look at these tracks. I think these might be the same wagon wheels going off to the left.
I'll actually get down on one knee and more closely examine the tracks.
Okay, give me an investigation. Is anyone assisting here? No. Nope.
I'll assist, seems a problem.
Okay, so at advantage.
I got 22 on the first roll. So
anyway, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you see it now. A few of the tracks, only a few of them head off the road, carrying on with the road. But with this side diversion that cavalry's found, everything has gone that way. At closer inspection, you can see multiple wagons, the prints of the Arogs' heavy feet, and then the ogres' bare feet. Definitely head this way. They're heading west. They're heading off the beaten path, so to speak.
You are correct, cavalry. The tracks do veer off the path here, heading in a westerly direction. How familiar are we with this area now? Are we moving out of the actual Thaawych area, or are we still in familiar territory?
So most of you would know the area fairly well. This is kind of like the border area, where it's out of Thaawych territory, and most of the military wouldn't spend much time out here. They stick to Thaawych unless on mission. I don't think any of you would have ventured too far this way. Maybe Radl doing work for the sanctuary.
What about Kramak?
But even to you, Radl, if you had known this area before, which you may have, it looks different now. It's been twisted. It's completely... actually, Radl, you probably spent the most time out here with the sanctuary, so I'd say roll an intelligence check for me, please.
I don't have intelligence on my thing.
Right at the top, all your main stats.
Click on the main stat.
Oh god. Yeah, 6.
Yeah, no,
You know.
You feel like you know the area, but it's not ringing any bells. Unfortunately, not a high enough roll to get you any information. All right, and so you guys are you going to follow these tracks instead of the road?
Oh, pardon me.
Yes.
I think it's a
Okay,
good
sweet.
idea.
No hassle there, so you follow through this twisted, dark forest. There seems to be less of a path to follow now. Everything tightens up, and you've got enough room for a wagon to pass through, and that is it. Whereas previously, you could have easily put 3 or 4 wagons across the road. Now it's tightened right up. The tree line, all the twisted barks and the limbs and that are tight. You can push in and out of trees happily, but it's much easier to stay on the road on the path if that's what you wish to do. Otherwise, if you want to push through the forestry, it's going to be a little tougher.
It will be hard for me to go through the forest.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
So I
Okay,
vote
so you
for.
guys. Yep, you guys keep moving on the road.
Yep.
Okay. Not in the too far distance, you guys can hear some noise. And when I say noise, it's quite echoey in the night. With your small light up, Kramak, glowing in the area, it's ahead of you about 20 feet, you said, right? You've sort of pulled it back to a yellowy light.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can hear this noise, and you can't see anything just yet, but it's quite clear it's going to be on the pathway ahead of you. What are you guys going to do?
You guys hear that? There's something in front of us.
And everyone hears it at the same time, yeah.
I'm going to drop the light.
Okay.
Immediately. And proceed forward slowly. Stealthily as I can with my armor on. That'll be a disadvantage stealth check for me.
Okay, sweet. Anyone else moving forward with Kramak?
I will.
I will too.
Okay, so if you guys want to move forward.
Would you
roll
believe it?
stealth.
I got nat 20 on the first roll.
Sweet. What about the two,
Yeah.
Nancy and Breath? What's your plan?
15.
Are we stealthing, Rattle, or should we just go?
Oh. Yeah.
Wait, we need to find out what this is.
Do we ever stealth, you and I?
We can try.
Let's give it a go.
So I'll just get your stealth. So, Kramak, what was yours?
15.
And cavalry?
7.
That was
And rattle?
15 at disadvantage too, by the way, guys.
Okay.
Nat 20 on the first roll.
That's pretty good for disadvantage, yeah. 18 for you, Rattle?
13.
13. And so, just before I divulge, so Nancy and Breath, what's your plan here?
I'll stay still behind them, but keeping with them. So my stealth check is 14.
All right. And Nancy,
I'll do same as Breath.
just keep back, okay? And stealth check?
22.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay. So as a communal stealth check, all moving sort of, the two of you keeping back still, but the communal group moving forward, that's pretty good set of checks. Cavalry with the lowest, extra feet maybe, maybe slow, but generally you're not making enough. It's a grass area now more than a
Clip,
track, and you're getting that. Yeah, you're getting that more of a just on the grass. It's not too bad.
It's okay. They'll think
Who's
she's
trip
an
trapping
animal.
over my bridge? And that's right, it is an animal sound. You're all fairly quiet. And what you do hear is you get closer. You still can't see anything, but you hear one voice giving orders. That's it. Yes, the big log. You need to send it forward. Tie it off. You, big one, tie it off. And you hear, "Pooh, pooh. I got this one. Where do I put the other one? And are you guys still moving forward?
Yes.
Yeah, so I see you sort of veer around like a right turn on this woven path, and the path doesn't widen much, but it widens just a little, and ahead you can make out two very, very large silhouettes in the moonlight. 100% ogres, there's no doubt in your minds. Not every single one of you would know what an ogre is, and it's twice the size of the Arogs. You can see two of these large figures, and then the smaller silhouettes of the Arogs, two of them as well. So you've got 2 ogres and 2 Arogs that you can see, and they're about 30 to 50 feet from the edge of this corner where you've sort of just poked your heads around. Like I say, visibility's at a fairly minimum, but you can see their silhouettes in the moonlight. Can't really tell what they're up to.
Game.
What are you doing?
How far away are they?
We need to make another decision.
Between 30 and 50 feet, so somewhere around that 40-foot mark.
Do we attack or do we flank around?
Did we see the children with them?
Yeah, is there anyone with them, or is it just them?
You can't see anything else at this point other than their silhouettes in the moonlight. There's too much forestry. Previously you had a better view, but the forestry's cutting out too much of the moonlight. It's very just highlighted edges of their silhouettes and the voices that you can hear.
Should we try and go around them and come in on the other side?
Well, I think this is the group that's been setting up the traps.
Looks like it.
Nancy, you're muted, mate.
Forrest.
Are they getting the traps out of their wagon?
You can see shadowy business behind them, but you can't see if it's a wagon or not. Nancy, repeat what you said. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
The forest, how thick is it?
It's pretty thick. It's enough room for a couple of people between each tree, sort of thing. There's quite a lot of forestry there, but you can move amongst it. It'd be harder for cavalry, being much larger.
Maybe if we surround and then someone could fireball the wagon for distraction.
I could fireball the whole group of them.
That would be distraction.
That would be a good idea.
Then,
AoE damage, element of surprise, and then the rest of us could attack.
I will wait here because I cannot go around too hard.
well,
Attack from
I will go straight
each
forward.
side and down the middle.
Yeah, I'll move to the right and
Go to the left.
move around, just not too close, not too far from where we currently are,
Okay.
but to within 60 feet of them.
Okay.
and I'm going to position myself and cast fireball, kind of like in the center.
In the center. Okay, so we'll just get a position for all of you first. So that's easy enough. So Kramak, you want to go to the right side.
Yep.
Breath, you want to sort of go to the center, ready for your fireball. So anyone else going right?
I'm going left.
Okay, so left for Nancy. Radl.
I too have a 5 bolt, so I might just go with breath.
Okay, so Radl, you're going to hang out with Breath sort of in the center. And Cavalry, what's your plan?
I will go straight for them because I cannot go through the forest too hard to.
Yeah, okay. So you'll be
Correct.
with Breath and Radl sort of after the
Ready.
shots you plan on. Okay, cool. Awesome. So Kramak, you sort of head out right. You're all heading the way together, one right, one left, and then the three in the middle moving up. Okay, cool. So you guys how are you gonna activate this plan? What, are you gonna set off the fireball first? What's maybe discuss it amongst yourselves?
I'm gonna cast this fireball. They've already walked off. I'm gonna start casting the fireball and launch it straight away.
Okay, done.
How close together is that group?
So that's a good question. So from your viewpoint of sort of that 40 feet distance to their silhouettes, it looks like the two larger ogres are probably, because it's only a small area, probably only about 20 feet apart, and then the two smaller ones are slightly closer to you, and they're about 10 to 15 feet apart themselves. A decently scented fireball will catch them all. And the only thing, because we don't have a map up on screen, this is all theatre of the mind. The only thing for the fireball is I'm just going to get you to fire accuracy for me. It's going to be a simple D20 roll, and you're good at what you do. You're a mage or sorcerer or whatever you are. Fireballs aren't too out of the norm, so I just need you to roll basically better than a 10.
Oh, well, 15, so there you go.
There you go. Yeah, so you've centered it exactly where you wanted it with a 15, and that fireball just zooms through. You see it, it's more like, starts out like a marble, tennis ball, softball, bowling ball, and then it hits the target and just lights up the area like Christmas, man. It's like a nuclear bomb going off in the middle of the forest. The trees sort of push out, and it just blasts fire out. Roll some damage for me.
That would be 37.
Ooh.
And they make a stick save.
Stick saves, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I'm just going to do communal dex
Gotta
saves
love
for them.
Fireball.
One for the ogres and one for the... Oh, Jesus. So the
Gotta love
ogres...
Fireball, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
So the ogres rolled a dex save of 14 and the Arogs rolled a dex save of 6.
So they all fail.
They all fail, so give me some total damage here.
That is 37 total damage.
Oh, nice, yeah. Once I resolve this, I'll just get what everyone else did. You all get a free shot, basically, if it's a distance weapon, or a free run-in if you're ready to run in. So I'll just do this damage. So just a bit of mathing. Yeah, so, and you were right, as it blazes up, whoever mentioned about the cart with them, that there's definitely not a covered cart, just an open cart, four wheels wagon, and they had a lot of rope and stuff that just lit up. You could see piles of rope and bits of branch work on the cart, and they were definitely organising traps there. And that fire blast just blasts out. And I'll just run in the order I can see you guys. Nancy, what would you have done at this stage from your left point of view?
Fire a bolt.
Okay, fire a bolt.
And I missed 10.
Okay. Assuming it depends on who you're aiming at. Who are you aiming at?
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But yeah, it's cool. You've got Arogs, the smaller ones closest to you, and Ogres, the larger ones. Yeah. Either way,
we'll
you fire through. You hear that twing and that very unhappy sound of nothing. It hits. Anything else you'd like to do? You can move forward at this pace. You could move 30 feet into either one of an Orog on your side or an Ogre on your side. No, happy to stand back?
Yeah.
Okay, cavalry, you're next on my list.
Is it safe to charge in if they are on fire?
It's safe to charge in to get to a point very close to them to give them a minute to sort of burn off because it's all sort of happening simultaneously. So yeah, you could charge in ready for your attack.
Yes, I will do that. I will charge.
Okay, and you'll get your charge bonus when we go into initiative because of that. No hassle. So yeah, as that fireball leaps, boom, and you've got cavalry just in there as an arrow fires through. Radel, you're next on my list. Yeah, firebolt.
I am going to throw a firebolt at the nearest whatever it is to me.
Orog, so the closest Orog is the one to the left-hand side. roughly the same.
20, so 22.
22's a hit, man.
Nat 20.
Cool, nat 20. So, yeah, critical damage.
Yep.
Nice, nat 20s.
So, I add 20. So, that is 32 damage.
Well, okay. So, yeah, after that fireball, you can see them all patting themselves down, and then that
natural 20 check.
Trail of fire, boom, hits the first Orog on the left side, and that Orog just bursts into more flame and screams, ah! And he drops on the ground. He's rolling around, and then he just stops lifeless as you guys are all rolling in now. And we will, Kramak, what were you up to there on the right hand side?
I will just drop a sacred flame on one of the ogres.
Cool, man.
Just the closest.
Left, ogre right. So ogre on the right for you. Yep.
The closest one to me. Dick save for him.
Dick save. -1, so 11.
That would be a fail. So he will take 9 points of radiant damage.
Yeah.
As the column of sacred radiant flame descends from the heavens.
Sweet. So yeah, that column of flame, and so it's flame. This whole area is just like light, and you can hear the explosions going off, and he just gets swallowed in this column of fire and light, and you hear him, "Roar! No, we no like," and he turns to face the direction that he thinks the attack's coming from. Of course, it's a column of light. He has no idea. He's just sort of doing about faces, and we'll roll initiative there, guys. So if you can all roll initiative, I'll take it down. Right in, my guys. Right, so Nancy, 13. Cavalry,
18.
18. Same again. Radel,
20.
20. Same again as well. Breath.
21.
Nice. And Kramak.
17.
Sweet, mostly highs.
Am I the only one that rolled the lowest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
I'm pretty sure I rolled lower than you, man, so...
That's what we want.
it is. Last in the initiative orders. Okay, so Breath, you're first of the round, man. What is she doing?
After the fireball, I'm going to stand there for a second and enjoy my work. And then
Yeah. And everything's lit up and on fire as well, so you've got quite a good view of everything now.
so I'm going to pick the one that looked like was the one that was directing the two ogres, and I'm going to do Mind Sliver on him.
Okay, yeah, so the guy directing is the one on the right-hand side, and yep, your Mind Sliver away, man.
Yeah, so they got to do a...
Making a save.
Yep.
Wisdom, was it?
Intelligence.
Intelligence, that's right. 9, 10, 10.
No. So, 8 points of psychic damage.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks,
so...
Auntie.
And has the -4 to saving throws.
saves.
DC. He's got to roll a D4 and take it
Oh,
away.
yes, yep. That's like a bane.
Yeah.
I'll write that there, -4. Okay, cool. And yeah, so you see him, he just grips his head, he's like, nah! And he's sort of wild look in his eyes, still smouldering as the smoke, as the fire dies away from the spell, looking at the direction of where you guys are all coming from. Is that it for you, Breath?
Yep, that's unfortunately the only thing I can do.
Alright, so after that is Radl.
I am going to cast another firebolt at the closest Orog to me.
Okay, there's only the one on the right hand side left, the one on the left is dead,
I
so
think
yep,
you did.
fire away.
Oh, 10 to hit.
No, so yeah, the firebolt goes wide.
Okay, and that is it for me.
Alright. Cavalry, you're up, mate.
Alright. I am charging as usual.
Yep, there you. So you'd already got your charge because you'd ran in, so you'll get that attack straight away as you hit the first Orog or Ogre.
Is it 21?
21. 21, if it's the closest, will be the Orog.
Alright. And
That is
that
a hit.
is 5 damage with the hooves.
Awesome, yep. Yeah, so you charge it, lifting your hooves, and you belt and clatter him straight on his front plate armor. And with your attack,
That is a 19
19 is a hit.
with a 6 for damage.
Excellent. Yeah.
Can I use a bonus attack to rage? Is the second attack or?
Your charge would have been your bonus, I believe.
So I can't do
Yeah,
that. Okay.
you'd have to do it on the next round.
All right. So another halberd then.
Okay, another halberd.
9. Probably
9.
misses.
Unfortunately, yeah. So, but you had a good run in with your charge. You've just about knocked him on his ass, and then you cleaved him hard with the halberd. But on that return swing, he's just expecting it, ducks out of the way, and right after that, Kramak, you sort of run into the fray.
Right.
Assuming you're not going anywhere else, Cavalry.
No, I'm now going to move. Which is the closest creature to me?
So
This one?
you're on the right-hand side. You would have the Orog and the Ogre both within sort of 10 feet of you. You've got a choice.
Which
The Orog is damaged the most. The Ogres still look
Okay.
alright even after the
Ogre's still
fireball.
looking okay? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to run into the Orog. And as a... As my action, I'm going to cast Bane at first level
Alright.
on him. So as I'm walking towards him, I'll take a small, sort of clear almost like a vial, but it's like a little pill box. It contains a small drop of blood. And basically I take it, open it, drop it into my hand and close my fist and just hiss at the Orog. I cursed you! And cast Bane.
Yeah, so all of you see as Kramak steps forward, does his business, this black cloud. Everything's lit up by this fire now, but this black cloud just hovers around the head of this last Orog standing.
Actually, I'm going to cast it on 3 of them. I can at this level.
3 of them at that level? Okay. So you've got
up to 3 creatures of my choice that I can see. They must make charisma saving throws as well.
Okay, I'll make the saves. So the save's either on or off, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one's for the Orog. That is 15.
That's a save.
Okay, so he doesn't get Bane?
No.
Okay, the second one for the ogre on your side is that's even better. 17. Oh, that's charisma shit though. 16, 15.
That's a save. Damn it.
And the last one is it's 13.
That is a fail.
Okay, so 2 of them save, 1 ogre on the ogre on the left, the ogre on Nancy's side fails.
Okay, so that was my action. As my bonus action, I'm going to melee attack the Orog that was closest to me.
Sweet as you have a light melee attack weapon in your left hand, eh?
I do.
Sweet, go for gold.
My shield I put back on my back as we came in to cast a spell, and I have a scimitar. A finesse light weapon.
Excellent. So take your attack.
Attack him with a 15 to hit.
That's on the Orog, you said, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that misses.
So, yeah, unfortunately you strike in and he just lifts that large plated arm and just and you come down right on that plated arm and he says, "Not today, fiend." And is that it for
that's it.
Okay, Nancy, you're up. Hey.
All right. We'll try the crossbow one more time.
Tried and true.
Actually, no, I've got a better idea. Blindness, deafness.
Ooh. Which one would you prefer, blind or deaf?
Probably blind.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, so what do I need to do? They just need to make a concept, don't they?
Yep, they make a save, and if they fail, whichever one. So who are you casting at? You've got an ogre on your side, and then on the opposite side from where you are.
Ogre.
Yep, ogre, sweet as. He is making the... Oh, it's not good. 11 plus... It's charisma, you say? Con, sorry. 13?
Pass.
He passes?
Succeeds, yeah.
Okay, that's not so bad. So he doesn't go blind.
Damn,
you see his
another success.
Close enough to him that you see his eyes sort of shimmy over, and then he blinks it off and is looking around to see what happened. He doesn't know, but unfortunately the spell fails. Is that a bonus action or is it an action?
That was a action.
Okay, do you have a bonus you can use as well?
No.
No knife you want to jump in on?
No.
Alright. No blood rights as a blood hunter?
Yeah, but I'm wanting to save those because...
That's fair.
Wise choice.
That's fair. Okay,
We've got a bigger fight coming. We don't want to burn everything.
Nancy, is the ogre, the large creatures, the large ogre's turns. The first ogre on the left side closest to you, he's going to look for you. He doesn't actually... You guys, you haven't come out of your position in the dark yet, so he's going to roll perception. Can I get you to roll a stealth for me, just to see? That's for you, Nancy.
What was that?
So if you can just roll a stealth, just to see, because you're in the bushes out of the way, I just want to see if he can see you.
Yeah, he can see me. 8.
Oh no, he can't. I rolled a 5. His perception is pretty low.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's looking around trying to find someone to attack. He can't see anything in general out of the bushwork, so instead he makes a move towards the group in the central area. So he's moving his 30 feet distance towards Breath, Radel, and at this point not Cavalry because she charged forward, so he's moving to the back crew. right through where he saw that fireball come from. He's moved us 30 feet. He's about 10 feet away from you, Breath. And that's all he can do in this round. He cannot swing. The second ogre is right next to Kramak. So, Kramak, you've got the ogre and the Orog. They're pretty close to you. One's within 10. The ogre was in sort of roughly that 10-foot distance too.
Cool.
And they will both... actually, they both have their turns one after the other. So they both step forward and making attacks at you. First, the ogre, large and beastie, with his great club. Massive club with like spiky bits sticking out the end. And he makes a attack with a dirty 20.
That's a hit.
It's a hit. That's 13 bludgeoning damage from the ogre.
Ouchie.
And the Orog makes 2 great axe attacks. Oh my god. Man, how do I show that on camera? I just rolled 2 natural 20s.
Oh shit.
On a black dice with the white numbers. Red dice.
We trust you.
Man, I feel real guilty. So
Right. If I die, I die. It's what's part of the
take 2
game.
great axe strikes. So that's double damage, which is 10 and 10 is 20 damage for the first hit and 20 damage for the second hit.
Kramak is unconscious.
I'm sorry, dude. He struck you down. So you guys see this as this Orog, just the ogre strikes first, not really doing any great damage, but then the Orog comes through and just that axe, boom, to one side of Kramak, and then cracks him on the other side, knocks him to the ground, and he
Actually,
not
hang on
getting
a
up.
second. Hang on 1 second. I have a thing.
You have a thing, go for it. I do apologise, man. You don't see
no,
double 20s.
Never apologise. But I think I have a thing, which is a racial thing. I remember reading it. Let's go find it. It could be a different thing from a different creature, but...
And all of you are watching on as you see Kramak hit the ground, and he's still breathing. You can see his chest rise and fall, with these 2 creatures standing over them. They're not standing there to do any more damage to him by the looks. They both just look the rest of the group. The immediate threat is you.
I could be wrong here. I think I might be wrong.
You might be thinking of the orc that gets back with the plus
No,
1.
there was something I was reading as well. Was a feat that maybe my warlock.
That's right. Just keep reading through. We'll go back to the top of the round. If you find it, just call out, bro. Breath, it's you're up.
Right, so there's one heading towards me.
Correct, yeah. It's about 10 feet away from you is the large ogre from the left-hand side that he couldn't see Nancy.
I'm going to cast Grease in front of it.
All right. Hey, what's the area of coverage on that one?
10 feet.
10 feet. It's like a square or a circle or something, eh?
No, it's a square. So it's a... Well, I'm guessing it's a 10-foot cube. So it's saying... Yeah, 10-foot square.
10-foot square. Okay, it's a square on the ground. Yeah, cube would be up in the air, so that's fine. Yeah, so as he steps forward, you can see him slipping in the grease, and I'll make that roll when it comes to his turn. But definitely, yeah, now there's this 10-foot square of grease, so the rest of you have to be careful how close you get to Breath in this Orog.
Kramak is definitely unconscious.
All right. Breath, is that it for you, or are you going to move back to the side?
And I'm gonna move back, like my full 30 feet.
Shit.
Yeah, you're going to move 30 feet back. Yeah, sweet. So you blast out this grease spell, and this pile of goo is just all on the ground under this ogre's feet now, and you just move back out into the safe zone. That Bane too is also down now that you're down. Is it concentration or not?
Dropped.
It is. Okay. After Breath is Radl. Cavalry, you'll be following. Radl, what's your plan?
Okay, I am going to aim at the one that Breath just threw his grease at with another firebolt.
All right, go.
She. Sorry.
Shim. Oh no, it is a she.
We go through this a lot.
17 to hit.
17 is a hit.
I mean, it would help if Pekka was putting on a female's voice.
Yeah, and wearing dress.
And
stuff.
Next Sunday.
get them all done up, Shell. That's 9 damage.
9 damage, yeah. So that's on the same ogre that was greased as well. So you've done some damage there. Anything else?
No.
You still got your little dragon up. So what did you use on the ogre there?
I used a firebolt.
Firebolt. Okay, so yeah, that firebolt just straight line, and just blasts into the ogre, and he's slipping in that grease as well.
Actually, my little dragon
Yes.
will hang on. Will throw his fire thingy, flame seed.
Yes. Flame seed.
So that is no, not that. That would be
To make a save, or he has to make an attack.
he has to make an attack, and that's a 7 to hit.
7 to hit. Unfortunately, his little seed is just not enough. That sounds terribly disgusting. He fires forth that small seed of fire, and the same thing as it happened before. Boom.
Yep.
You'll be doing your own death saves for this one, Evil. Yeah, and that little fire goes off on the armor, and yeah, no idea. It just doesn't get through. You're like, what is going on to this fire? It is not happening from the little dragon, unfortunately. Is that it for you, Radl?
That is it for me.
Okay. Then we will go to cavalry.
Who is closest? Am I next to one or?
Yes, so you charge forward and you are next to one, yes.
Alright. I would like to rage first.
You may rage.
And then I will hit him with the halberd.
Alright, and you guys see his cavalry just his body exudes rage. Do you make noise? Do you let out a war cry, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a war cry.
Not right now.
Oh, come on. Not enough wines.
Can't do it. 17?
17 to hit, and unfortunately, no, it's a miss on the Thaawych. You rage up, but as you swing, it's just too much anger, and he's quicker than your raging hit. You were trying with that power hit, it's just a bit slower. Second shot. You can make another hit.
It's a 17 again. Nope.
The rage is there, but he's just quick. He's quick on his feet. He's taken one of your team members down, and he's just bursting with adrenaline. He's just too fast for you. Unfortunately, I believe that's it for you, cavalry, unless you want to move.
No.
Okay. Kramak, you need to make a save, but please do not reveal to the rest of us what the save is. I suppose they can probably see it online anyway, but
I won't mark it on my sheet.
sweet as. That's good. You just keep it to yourself. After you is Nancy. Nancy.
All right. Which one's how many's up?
Say that again, mate.
How many are up?
How many are up? So you still got 3 up. The one that just
Which is the closest to me?
the closest to you would now be the Orog that put down Kramak.
All right, that one then. All right, so with that, I take out one of my bolts, run it across my hand to draw blood for the blood maledict.
Yes, maledict. Yep.
Yep. And invoke blood curse of bloated agony.
Okay, so yeah, you draw blood on yourself and you feel that power imbue within you.
So with that, I will take damage. Awesome.
Yes, you take damage from your blood maledict.
And he will take.
I'll be right back.
Sweet as, man.
Points of necrotic damage, and it has disadvantage on strength and dex abilities.
It doesn't matter because you put him down.
Oh, sweet!
You fire that arrow through, and just that 6 points was enough. You can see where Kramak lays on the ground. This Orog just falls right next to Kramak. Its arm laying over Kramak's body as it falls next to him. That is 2 down. You just have the 2 large ogres up now. Both of them looking fairly damaged. Do you have another shot?
Yeah, I'll use the same bolt that I used to slice my hand open with.
Absolutely.
And fire it at the other one.
All right, so you've got the ogre on your side that's just the closest now. So yeah, fire away. It's the one that's actually headed towards the grease in front of Breath. What did you get?
Natural 20.
Nat 20. Right, man. Yeah, so it finds its mark, man. Roll your damage. Oh, double, obviously, your maximum damage, then roll again. So it's the same as the other game.
So 8, 9, hate maths. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plus 7. What's that? Anybody help?
19.
19 points.
Yeah, so that your arrow's true, man. It's Nancy, your arrow's true, lady. Yeah. You pull that bolt up and it's still glowing and the sort of steam radiates off it as you just. And whereabouts did you hit this ogre?
Side of the neck.
Side of the neck, yeah. It's sort of 3/4 to you, not quite facing, and you just get it straight in the side of the neck, and you see the bolt pass through one side out the other, and it just sort of goes. And the big body just into the grease in front of Breath. The big splash of grease. Breath, you get it sort of splattered up the side of your face. And it is down. That's 3 of them down. You have 1 ogre left, and it's 1 standing over by Kramak's body.
That's what I needed to do all along. Slice my hand, make a blood curse. All works. Awesome.
It is now that ogre's turn. And the ogre has seen 3 of its comrades go down. And it's, no, I don't need this to happen today. And he puts his big club up and he just wanders straight over, and the closest one to him is Cavalry, and he takes a swing at Cavalry with his big club. Oh man, a 3 + 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. It's just a big laboursome swing, and it's not enough. Cavalry, you just sidestep no hassle, and this club just goes down in the way, and it's kind of stuck in the ground. And with that, it is now Breath's turn again.
And you're muted.
And you're muted.
Alright, so I'm going to do the Mind Sliver on whatever the hell's close to me.
Yep, so you've got 1 ogre over by Cavalry, who's sort of central of the battleground, and that is it now. So Mind Sliver on the last ogre.
Yep. So
he's making a save with an intelligence, and it's good. 19 plus takeaway 3, 18, 17, 16.
16 passes.
Ooh,
So now I've got to read what actually happens if they pass.
yeah.
Oh, okay. If they succeed, they take only 1d6 damage, and they don't have 3 points of psychic damage, and they don't suffer that. Problem.
So you see him, he's got that club in the ground, and you cast that Mind Sliver, and he shakes his head and he goes, "Mama, you calling me?" But then he's back to what he was doing, and that was it. He didn't take any more notice than that. Is that it for you, Breath? No movement?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Radl, you're up.
Again, I am going to throw another firebolt, because it's about all I've got. And I am going to go for the one that's closest to me.
Okay, same thing. It's just that 1 ogre left in the middle of the battleground now.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll go for him, her, whatever it is. 12 to hit.
12 is a hit.
Ooh.
Big target.
7 fire damage.
7 fire damage. Right, and so you see there's still fire illuminating the area from the cart that's on fire and some of the forestry that's still alight, and your little weaving fire just breaks what breaks what darkness there is as it just blasts into this ogre, and he's like pulls that club out of the ground and says, "Stop hitting me!" And he looks around for where it came from. Is that it for Radl?
No, her little dragon's gonna have a go as well.
Okay, sweet.
So she's gonna throw a flame seed again.
Ah, yes, the illustrious flame seed.
Yeah, let's try this again. It's all leveling, you know. And gets 15 to hit.
15's a hit, this time with a nice big target.
And then 1d6 plus 3. Oh my god. 4
okay.
fire damage.
So yeah, the little pseudo dragon flaps its wings, fires this little seed out, and then boom, a little explosion on the back of this ogre, and little fire sort of blasts up, the smoke hails off, and the ogre's like, "I do not like you all, so annoying." And just really disorienting him. With that, it would be, if that's it for you, Radl,
That is it for me.
it's Cavalry's turn.
The one is still next to me, right?
Yep, it's the same ogre that is getting
Have you
annoyed
missed
by everyone.
Have you missed a death save by any chance?
Oh,
I don't believe so. You're after Cavalry.
Okay. Just making sure.
I am
Thank you.
going to use tail form of the beast,
Okay.
which is a 21 to hit,
Yeah, that's a hit. No hassle at all.
and a 15 for damage.
All right. So yeah, you can tell me how you take this ogre down.
Oh, with my tail.
With your tail, apparently. You can add flavor if you like.
I
Tail
have a
slap.
barbed wire hidden in my tail. And I slash him across the neck, opening his artery. And
Oh yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So
that goes.
yeah, it's almost like you whip your back of the horse body around, and almost like that tail kick of the horse, and yeah, some sneaky barbed wire that's sticking out there, and it just lacerates right across that jugular region, and you can sort of see it's like one of those bloody
Eroded.
Pulp Fiction or something, blood going everywhere, and he rolls, lumbers forward, steps into the grease, slips in the grease, and then falls on his back. The whole ground just shudders, and the club drops, and you can hear him just gurgling in his own pool of blood as he's trying to breathe. And with that, you guys are now out of combat. There is no more enemy. There's a little bit of fire around you in a grease pit, but yeah, no more enemy.
Can I go over and give a healing potion to Kremek?
I'll make another death save
Make-
before you
I was
do
just
that.
gonna say,
It's
make
6
a death save.
seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a nat one.
No, natural 20, so I'm stabilised anyway.
Yeah, sweet. So, unbeknownst to anyone else,
20.
you've stabilised, but Cavalry, you come forward with your potion. You said.
Yes, the one he gave me earlier.
Okay, and you administer that to him. Roll for healing on it.
Was it a 4? D4? Or
2d4 plus 2 if it's just a
2d4
standard.
Correct. 2d4 plus 4, is it?
2.
So, yeah.
that would be a 9.
9.
So you get 9 points of healing, Kramak. All right, and the rest of you now amongst the corpses of the enemy and the slowly rising body of Kramak, you guys can discuss at will what you would like as your next plan of attack.
What happened? I just remember seeing an axe and then darkness. I feel bad.
Red Elf's
Ow.
Dragon.
What was that?
Red Elf's Dragon blew everything up. You're fine.
Okay, that's good. Maybe next time I won't run in quite so close.
Good idea.
Ow. And with that, what is he gonna do? He's gonna cast a. Has anyone else taken damage? Like, does everyone look like they've been hurt?
Yep, I have.
Okay,
Nope.
gather around, everyone. And I'm going to cast 3rd level Prayer of Healing, which everyone will get 14 points of heals.
Thank you.
Muchly appreciated.
As you are muted.
You muted, man.
Yes, I am. I just say, Kramak, would you describe how the spell looks? Is it a glowing white light or something?
It's just almost like a swirling, just radiant energy will start swirling around everyone. and as it swells around, it'll start that heal.
Cool. So
Almost
you guys all
instantly.
get that healing. And it was how much? 14 points?
14 points each.
14 points of healing. As this radiant mist sort of swirls through all of you, you'll feel revitalized and a little bit better off as the only a few hours have passed by, and you've done a lot of work in that few hours. It seems now, you know, you've dispatched of these trap makers, and as you look around, you can see that they were hooking together more of the similar traps. They'd already sort of pulled a branch back and it attached a big spike to it. It just hadn't been rigged to go off yet. There was another similar of the log traps they were sort of picking up and working on, but you've foiled that. Most of it's sort of, the fire's nearly out now, but most of it's sort of smouldering or blazing a bit. Their wagon full of materials at some stage is now just a pile of ash. The wagon itself is sort of crutched over on one side as the wheels have burned away, and you've just got like a metal sort of strip left sort of on the ground. Some of it's almost like red hot where the central area of this fireball went off.
Oh, I don't know about you lot, but I think I might need to rest here until maybe the morning. Continue to track them in the morning.
Sounds like a good idea.
Good plan.
I am totally shattered. Oh, I feel so bad. These things, do they have anything on them? One chance, have you searched the bodies?
Barbecued meat.
I mean,
So-
they smell terrible, but
They're definitely not barbecued meat because they were fighting you. There's a couple of them that look a little worse for wear, but yes, you're searching the corpses. Who would like to make that search? Or as a group effort, someone could make a roll at advantage.
I'll help.
Okay, cool. So whoever's rolling, roll at advantage.
I'm too
18
I'm
for
too damaged to
investigation.
hurt. to look.
Investigation. Was that you, Breath, at 18?
Yeah.
Okay, so you find on an Orog, the first Orog, he had a hand axe, 2 gold pieces. I don't know, I'll give you time to write this in. 2 gold pieces and a silver ring. And then in his pack, he had a small pack on. He had a medium health potion, the greater health potion. The second Orog was carrying a club, 2 water skins, and they're both full with water, and an old apple. It looks a little worse for wear. It's bruised on one side, and it's, you know, the leaf's a bit brown, but it's an apple. On the ogres, the first ogre that you guys killed first, the one you cut down pretty quick, he has tied to his belt, and they're not wearing much. It's very just loincloth, large club, and his pouch on the side, and tied to his little belt, he's got a rabbit carcass. It's kind of, it's dead. It's not skinned. It's looking a little old, and it's sort of tucked in around its neck, and that's on his belt there.
Yummy.
And he also,
What
He
a
also-
waste of good food.
he has a large club, which you can see quite happily there, and he has 1 healer's kit tucked into the back of his pouch that it enables you to stabilize a dying character. The second ogre in his pouch has a gold ring, a small eye of an animal, of what type of animal you're not sure, and
Pardon me.
around his neck a necklace with a small bird's skull on it, and a leg of mutton in his little knapsack that he's got on his back. And that is all you find on these creatures.
Did not expect to find much.
The mutton is seared.
I was about to ask if was it cooked or not.
It wasn't. It partially is now.
Ugh. The clubs, I don't think we're going to need to bother with. They're probably too big for us to carry anyway. And not, I mean, we're going to sell it. I mean, it's not really worth anything for us. We need to rest up and then carry on to rescue the townspeople, or as many as we can.
So are you guys going to take a short rest or a long rest?
Well, to regain obviously the spell slots I use, I need to rest for at least 8 hours. I don't know how much time we'll have. Don't want to give them too much time to get ahead of us, but I really need to have the full 8 hours in case we strike something more formidable than these ogres and Orog.
I've only got one thing I need to do that requires a long rest, but other than that, I just need a short rest.
What about you, Breath?
Yeah, I could probably do with a long rest as well. I've burnt through most of my spell ability for the day.
And it looks like it's going to give you a long rest.
Okay,
I mean,
I
we
was going
could
to
probably find a safer area than where we currently are, just in case someone sends someone looking for these things. We probably should move further into the forest and find something pure.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. So long rest is agreed.
Yeah.
And you guys move further into the forestry. And my assumption is you take caution and care, looking for trap twigs and that. And you find it takes a little bit of cavalry for you to push through some of these trees, but within sort of 10 minutes of movement into the forest, you find a nice clearing that's good enough for you all to be good cover and a good space for you to sort of spread out and take a nap with no hassle. And that is probably a good place to call it, Evil, if you're happy.
Yep. That is a brilliant place to call it. Thank you very much. Thank you, chat. We're going to call our game there for the evening. Join us again next week, next Sunday. We continue the remainder of the story. I would like to thank our guest DM, Orbazim, aka Baz, aka Het, aka my little brother. Guys, he also runs a tabletop game which both Nutty and I play in as well. Thank you so much for DMing for us tonight, Baz. It was awesome.
No worries.
Players, again, thank you guys for hanging out and playing another awesome game of D&D with us.
And fun characters. It was great characters, guys.
Well done, guys.
Awesome.
Good RP, good gameplay. We don't need to worry about XP because it's a one-shot, so we don't really need to worry about any of that sort of shit. But
we don't get a level?
you don't get XP. But like I said, the VOD for this episode will be uploaded to YouTube sometime tomorrow afternoon/evening. So if you have missed bits and pieces or you want to catch up or rewatch it, it'll be available on YouTube. Don't forget to sub if you can. Definitely follow if you can. Come and hang out with us every week, every Sunday night. We'll be doing more D&D every Thursday morning, starting again on the 2nd. We'll be doing the Curse of Strahd. Hopefully by then I will be speaking a bit better and we'll be able to get back into full swing of things. Don't forget to check me out on Mixer, mixer.com/Evldoa for all my gaming content, which will start again this week. But with that, we will call it there, guys. Thank you very much to everyone in chat and in the Skype call. Hang out in the Skype call for a couple of minutes, guys, and we'll say goodbye to the chat.
Ciao, chat.